All right, all right, all right. It looks like we are live. What is going on, Bree Hive? How is everyone doing this lovely Thursday? It's the weekend. Welcome back to another live stream. And we're talking about the same case for hopefully the last time. We are going to go through the testimony that got Mr. Charlie Adelson locked up, or we don't know how long he's going to be sentenced for yet, but the trial that is getting him in trouble. Did he engage in other things? Did he think he was going to walk out of this one? Well, he didn't walk out of this one, and he was found guilty earlier this week, right? On Tuesday, or was that Wednesday? Tuesday or Monday, I mean. Forgot what day he was found guilty, but he was found guilty nonetheless for committing a conspiracy to eliminate his ex-brother-in-law, the actual elimination of his ex-brother-in-law, and then also elimination for hire. Okay, he paid someone. And not only did he pay someone, one of the things that kept coming up in the trial is that he paid them on a payment plan. He paid them on a payment plan. He didn't even give them the money up front, although he was making, according to him, $850,000 to $900,000 a year, which that is a lot of money. That's a lot of money, okay? But he ended up paying about $137,000 to eliminate his ex-brother-in-law. And we covered the case. We watched some of it live. We talked about it. And now we're going to get into individual testimony. But first, we are going to open up with the Am I the A-hole story to kind of loosen things up, because this is a very serious case that we're talking about. And then we're going to get into the nitty-gritty. Who testified? I believe our paralegal Kimmy is working on our PowerPoint presentation, so hopefully that's ready. But even if it's not ready, we're still going to go through the people one by one. And I don't have pictures with me, so I'm hoping that Kimmy got some onto the PowerPoint for us to show today. All right, so let me go ahead and see who's watching live. If you haven't already, please do hit the like button. It helps us out in the algorithm, helps us get friends. And you know, we like the stream, so let's just hit the like button. Let's see who is here live. If you're watching on the replay, make sure you go ahead and comment in the chat that you watched on the replay. We have Z Seltzer, a member of the channel, saying, so sorry, won't be here live. We'll have to be on the replay. Bree Hive, pink waving hands. That is all good. Thank you for stopping by and leaving a chat. Mary Jane says, oh man, I'm falling asleep soon. Man, did this week get to us or what? Was this a tough week for anyone? It was a slow week for me, and so it was a little hard to get through. But thank you for stopping by, Mary Jane. Not really, Sarah. Let's see, Charlie Mullen, another member of the channel. Hello and welcome to the live stream. Saying hi, Bree. That picture of you on the cover page is lovely. Well, thank you very much. It's a really old picture, but I am wearing the same shirt, so it's kind of like today. But thank you very much. Cricket says, hello, can't wait to talk about this or talk more about this case. Well, welcome into the live stream. We are going to get into it. And I'm saying we're going to talk about all the witnesses, but we're not going to talk about all the witnesses because I could not watch 3 to 4 days worth of trial while also working at my regular job. So we're not going to talk about all the witnesses, but we are going to talk about all of the prosecution's witnesses and a little bit, one of Charlie's witnesses, and then a little bit about Charlie's testimony, which I have not finished that either. So, but we're going to talk about it, okay? Emma says, hey, y'all. Hello and welcome to the live stream. Nice to see you tonight. Big says, hey, haven't caught a live stream in a minute. And hey, new setup. Okay, yes, welcome back to the live stream. We are trying to get a little pizzazz going. It's at a standstill at this point because I've been party planning my husband's birthday party. But once that's done, I can get back into working on this setup. But we got a little Bree Hive sign, so that's cool. I got to figure out the lighting on the camera to make it beautiful, but it's still cool, right? Summer Butterfly, hello and welcome into the live stream. Nice to see you tonight. And first one says, hi all, hello and welcome into the live stream. Nice to see you tonight. Let's see here. We have 14 people watching live with 15 likes, so we're doing pretty good. If you haven't hit the like button, please do. It helps us out in the algorithm. It helps us get more friends. Now, If you missed the beginning of the live stream, which was all of 5 minutes ago, we are going to be covering the rest of, or not the rest of, but some more of the testimony in the Charlie Edelson's case. But first, we are going to start off with our lovely Am I the A-hole, so that we can kind of do a little icebreaker. And if you also missed the beginning of the live stream, we're not going to have as cool of things going across the bottom because our paralegal Kimmy is not hearing. You guys know I can't do it all at the same time. So let's transition over to our Reddit post. So let's see. Do we want to talk about a toddler, or do we want to talk about an adopted sister? I am going to go with the adopted sister. So let me pull that up. And oh, I'm not showing the screen on this anymore. So am I the a-hole for excluding my adopted sister from the family photos? You certainly sound like the a-hole starting off, but we'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Let's see, why are you excluding the adopted sister from the family photo? And again, I picked a long one because I click on these things and don't read them, and that's my fault. The title sounds good, so we're gonna go through it. All right, this is a throwaway, and I'm using fake names. Yeah, because you're asking, am I the a-hole for excluding my adopted sister from the family photos? Feel free to drop your comments in the chat because we're going to go through them after I get through the read, okay? I am 26 female, and my adopted sister, Allie, is 14 female. She's a child. You're excluding a child from a family photo? Let's go. Let's go on. The way we're related is that my younger brother, Michael 24M, has been with his wife, Maya 24F, since their freshman year of high school. Maya and Allie had a really bad home life, and my mom is very much my home is open to everyone type of person. So over that year, Maya began spending more and more time at our house, eventually bringing Allie over as well, since she was always babysitting. By the time Michael and Maya were 16 years old, Maya basically lived in the guest room, and Allie spent after school most weekends, holidays, and summer vacations at our house. So they kind of unofficially adopted this child, sounds like. My mom and dad say that they love both Maya and Allie like their own children. My other siblings, 18 male and 16 female, also treat her like she's part of the family. Even after Maya and Michael moved out, Allie is still at their house the same amount of time, if not more than when she was before. Now, to preface, I have nothing against Allie. She's a good kid. I make an effort to be nice to her. However, I've never really liked how she was foisted into our lives. She's not actually adopted, and she still has parents of her own. Yet my parents spend so much time and resources on her, it's ridiculous. Everyone else has started unironically calling her their daughter or sister, and I've refused. I just don't consider her to be family. Okay, it's still a kid. Anyway, I got married recently, which is where the issues start. I invited Allie to the wedding, of course, and she came with all of my other family. When we were doing pictures of the wedding parties, I decided that I wanted one with all of my immediate family. So my parents, my siblings, and Maya and Michael's daughter. My mom brought Allie up to come take the picture with us, and I was forced to tell her no. My mom started to get upset, but then Allie said it was okay and sat down by herself. My mom isn't a very confrontational person, so she didn't make a big deal of it, but then everyone else realized that Allie wasn't there, so they got mad as well. Ultimately, we took the photo how I wanted it because they didn't want to do this at my wedding. But my entire family is pissed at me now. My mom said that Allie cried when she got home because I don't love her, which I don't. Oh my. You didn't have to add that in, which I don't. I don't love her. You could have kept that one to yourself. I feel like they forced I guess she meant to put me. I feel like they forced me into a position where I had to do an a-hole thing by forcing this kid onto me. I don't think I should have to consider her family if I don't want to. Am I the a-hole? Okay, there's an edit to this, so I'm going to go ahead and jump into the comments, and then we're going to come back and look at the edit in just a moment here. So where are we at in the comments? Let's see. Cricket said, that's a yikes from me from the title. Yeah, I agreed. I'm like, you sound like an a-hole. Got to click on this one. Got to see what the chat has to say about it. Tanya D says, hey, y'all. I'm here watching ads to support the channel. Love to see it. Thank you, Tanya D, another member and moderator of the channel. Nice to have you here tonight. Barbara Florence says, Florida is mandatory life sentence. There's no compromise, no parole. Oh, wow. Did not know that. They're coming back for a sentencing hearing, so I did not know it was a mandatory life sentence, but probably for the actual elimination. However, for the other things like the conspiracy and the elimination for hire, I'm wondering what those will be. Are they going to add on to the life sentence? Or are they just going to do one life sentence? That, I guess that's what we would be coming back for, because I'm assuming the mandatory life is for the elimination itself. Tanya D says, hey to Figs. Tat says, LOL, yes, she is the a-hole. Yes, I agree with you on the story. Mary Malarkey says, hi, Bree, chat, and mods. The only person I watched on the stand were Dan Markel's next door neighbor. He was an important witness for the prosecution. Luckily, he was home. Yes, luckily he was home, and we're going to talk about his testimony. He wasn't on the stand very long, but he did give that initial information that everyone needed. Cricket says, is she jealous of a child? It's a 14-year-old child, and she did not want her in her wedding pictures. It sucks. Tiny says, hey to Mary Malarkey. Emma says, it's looking cool. Doing my best to listen with y'all, but it's 4:36 here. And SE, where's SE? Can't think of it. And my cat just settled in on my chest. Have a great time, guys, and lovely to see you again, Bree. Well, thank you for stopping by. We definitely appreciate you stopping into the chat. Nat Atat says, what a jerk, right? Mary Jane says, oh, I missed Am I the A-hole? It's the first one. We have another one to go through, so don't worry about it. Big says, kind of fair, but is being an a-hole. Yeah, I think some of her comments is what's kind of throwing it off, right? Love Dreaming Peach says, yes, the a-hole from the jump. Yep, okay, I got it corrected. Hi, Cheryl C. Welcome into the live stream. Mary Jane says, yay. Okay, that we're gonna do another one. So short, if you miss the Am I the A-hole, basically it's a 26-year-old woman who has kind of like this pseudo adopted friend of the family child who everyone in the family basically treats her like a sister and calls them her sister. And her brother is married to the girl's older sister. So this girl has been around in their family for what seems like a long time, because I think they said 26. They've been dating since 4. So it's 12 years. And the little girl had to be like 2 because she's 14 now, right? And she's been around for 12 years. But this older sister, 26 years old, does not consider her a sister and apparently doesn't love her. And she had a wedding. She wanted to take a photo of her immediate family, which is going to include Allie, the 14-year-old sister, because the sister is now married to the brother. So of course she and her new niece and her brother would be in the picture, but she specifically asked to exclude Allie. I think it's a tough one. I think she's an a-hole because of the things that she said, right? I really think she's an a-hole because of the things that she said. But I think that everyone has the right to have their pictures the way that they want them on their wedding day. I probably would not have included the older sister, so the one that's married to the brother. I probably would not have included anyone's wives and anyone's, probably the niece, because she is blood related to her at that point. But in order to not exclude the literal child, the 14-year-old, I would have probably said, hey, Maya, can you sit this one out? I don't want Allie to feel bad because I want a picture with just, my blood relatives. I feel like if she would have done that, it wouldn't have been as bad. Or I don't know. It's very, very hard. I don't know. Because I do feel like people have the right to have the pictures the way that they want them. I don't think her family should have made a big deal about not wanting the little girl there, but maybe she should have talked to them first about it so that it wasn't like an embarrassing situation. And maybe she should have took a picture with, just her blood family and then added them in. And then, maybe just took a picture with Allie herself so that she didn't feel kind of like excluded. But then I feel like, are we in that, Gen Z era where we're coddling kids and trying to make them feel special, just to not hurt their feelings? I mean, it is a tough world. I do believe that she had every right to have her picture how she wanted it, but I think she probably could have excluded more people so that Allie didn't feel targeted. And Allie probably felt more targeted because of the way that she treats her. She's the only one in the family that does not call her their sister or adopted sister or daughter for their parents. She's the only one that's like, I don't love her, kind of situation. So I feel like, I don't know, there's probably more to the story. So let's see. We have an edit. After the ceremony, but before the reception, the wedding party and both of our close families took picture. I did not include Allie in this photo session, and she sat with the rest of the regular guests waiting for dinner. I did not intentionally exclude her from any of the photos taken. I'm sure she's in some of them throughout the night, especially because she was there with my family. I hope that clears some things up. Okay, that is messed up. That's a little worse. You didn't let her take any of the family photos, and this girl has been in your life like a family friend, a family cousin that's not really your cousin, and you didn't let her take any of the family photos? I think there's a way to do it. I didn't know she had to go sit with the rest of the guests. That's messed up. That is messed up. Edit 2. Maya and Allie are sisters. Sorry, forgot to explicitly say that in the post. I got that Maya and Allie were actual real sisters. But I also understand why she included Maya, because she actually married into the family. But this little girl has been there since she was 2 years old. And I guess maybe she's having a disconnect as far as connecting with her because she was already older and maybe she didn't spend as much time with the little girl. I don't know. Final edit. The people who are agreeing with me are starting to convince me that I'm wrong. The people who are agreeing with you because their reasoning sucked. To the people calling my parents nasty things in my PMs, I'm just saying that they aren't good people. Calling my parents that they aren't good people? What? I didn't even get that. Or just saying that they aren't good people. You're dead wrong. My mom is the most caring and kind-hearted woman in the world, and I should have made that more clear in my post. To be clear, I am also not a monster. I don't mistreat Allie. I get her birthday and Christmas gifts every year. However, I am starting to understand that I did do a messed up thing by publicly excluding her at my wedding because I wanted it to be exactly how I imagined, especially because my mom was apparently blindsided by my feelings. I think that she should have spoke to them privately before doing it publicly. So yeah, I would agree with that. I was 16 to 18. Yep, she was older. 16 to 18 when Allie started coming around a lot, and I didn't form the same bond everyone else did. I never super liked being around kids, including my sister, who by all accounts behaved way worse than Allie ever did. But I recognize that she... So her little sister that's like 16 is worse, is what she's saying. But I recognize that she's become part of the family, and I think I'm going to make more of an effort to get to know her properly because I do know she is very mature and intelligent for her age. Oh yeah, she feels like the a-hole now. Also, I don't mean to minimize what Maya and Allie have gone through by saying she wasn't physically abused. I more so meant to explain why she hadn't been legally removed from her mother's house. She does have extended family that actually cares about her, but they live at minimum an hour away, so she stays with my parents the majority of the time. Thank you all for your input. So I'm going to get back into our comments, and then we're going to try to read the top comment, and then we'll go from there. They actually commented on the edits as well, so that's crazy. Okay, where was I at here? We have Cheryl C saying, I'm behind and catching up. This was a short week and I still feel far more exhausted than I usually do at the end of longer weeks. Well, yes, it was a long week for me. Very long week. Hopefully we get some. I'm not gonna get any rest over the weekend because that's the when the party is. So, welcome in, Cheryl C. Sabiti Raw says hello, hello, and welcome into the live stream. Nice to see you tonight. We got some people saying hello. Mary Jane said, "What a soap! This does feel like a soap opera, doesn't it?" Crystal Harris says, "On 1.25 speed, trying to catch up. Well, we'll see you soon. We're not that far away." Emma says, "Take several photos and never use the one she doesn't want. No need to handle it this way." Yeah, that's what I said. Take different varieties. So she didn't feel like completely excluded, but to completely tell her like, no, go away and sit with the rest of the other guests while your sister, who in my family, who are probably the only people that you know here, and you're a child, take photos with me. Like, I feel like it's very messed up. And her photos probably didn't even turn out the way that they wanted it to, because everyone else probably felt awkward too. Loving Dreaming Peach says, I think every time she looks at the picture, she would remember that moment. But since she doesn't care about the girl's feelings, I guess she won't. Yeah. She's saying she's going to make more of an effort, so maybe she will care. I don't know. Kathleen, hello, welcome into the live stream, says, if you're going to include sister-in-law, why not include Allie? That's what I'm thinking too. I feel like if she was going to exclude Allie for a certain picture, she should have also excluded her sister, just so that Allie, who is a child, we're talking about a child, didn't feel like she was kind of being picked on. And with Maya being the adult, she probably would have understood. But at the same time, Maya and the poster probably have a closer relationship because they're only 2 years apart, right? So she admitted that she never really formed a bond with the little girl, but still, I think there's different ways to do it, especially if everyone else in your family considers her family. Tiny says, I agree with that to Emma. Mary Malarkey says, I feel the mother should have known better. She shouldn't have put her on the spot. She should have taken photos with her right after, though. Yeah, I feel like she should have taken her own photos, like, solely with her, but she did not care for her to begin with. So I feel like that's why she didn't do it. And now that she posted this online and people are telling her she's wrong, now she feels bad, right? Cricket says, you know you're in the wrong when the people that agree with you make you reconsider. Yeah, that's when she was getting like, dang, am I an a-hole for real? Mary Jane says, pretty wholesome. OP is actually rethinking. She learned from her mistake, right? Too bad she has a million pictures excluding this little girl. Love Dream and Peach says, the more she explains, the worse she gets. Yeah. I was kind of like, oh, I can see what she means, you know? And then as she added more context, it got worse and worse. Emma says, that's good quality to have. Good for her to be able to rethink it. Mary Malarkey says, the bride also should have known mom would want the girl in the photos. The adults all failed the child. I agree. I feel like she should have said something. You know what? You know, she talked about it with her husband. You know, she talked about it with her friends, but she didn't think to talk about it with her brother and her mom. Those are going to be the people that's going to be or even Maya. Talk to the older sister and see what she thinks, right? Tidy says, now watch her get mad when the 14-year-old doesn't want to deal with her, right? Or she does the same thing to her at her wedding after she thinks that she's fixed the relationship and they've grown closer. Sorry, y'all, if that was loud. My hands just flopping around. Mary Jane says, yeah, very sad. This kid will remember this. Have to. She's at an age where she would remember this. Saying hi to everyone. Chris Mullen saying hi. Hey, Chris. Yes, welcome in. All right, guys. Of course, y'all know the drill. If you haven't hit the like button, please do. We are at 27 likes with 28 people watching live. Thank you for joining in. We are going to be jumping into the Adelson, y'all. I'm going to have to kind of look at my phone because Kimmy was supposed to be helping me get a PowerPoint together, but she let me know that she's running a little behind. So I don't have the PowerPoint, but we can kind of go, I guess, through my mountains and mountains of notes on this case. Like I am scrolling to get back to the top. Okay. And hopefully I can pronounce people's names right. Cause I was spelling things all kinds of ways. Mary Malarkey says, still catching up. No photos taken anywhere that night. Everyone at the event is horrible. Right. She's saying that maybe she was in some of the photos, but it doesn't sound like she specifically sat down and took a photo, or not sat down, but got with Allie and took a photo with her to make sure that she didn't film. I would have felt awkward after that. Like, really? Really? Okay, let's look at the top comment. I'm so sorry, you're the a-hole. Unless my math is failing me, the child entered your life when you were 16 and she was about 4, and you already had 3 other biological siblings younger than you, but older than her. Your words sound resentful, as if you started being neglected at the time, which wouldn't really make that much sense if you were like almost out the door, right? But you're taking it out on Allie like her sister slash babysitter, removing her from her really bad home life as a preschooler was her fault. Like she had designs on worming her way into your family. That's not what happened. I hope you understand that. Perhaps therapy could help. Yeah, go to therapy. Edit for clarity. You're the a-hole. You were a dick to Allie at your wedding. You could have gotten your immediate family photo in a much nicer fashion. You could have definitely talked to your mom and your brother and Maya prior to doing that. And also, like I said, maneuvered around where she could be in some pictures, because I'm sure she took pictures with just the parents of the wedding, or the parents of the bride and groom, pictures with just the siblings of the bride and groom, okay, pictures with the siblings, and you added people in, and I feel like she could have done that to at least let her be a part of the experience. Edit number 2, because people keep trying to give me information that I already have. I know Allie is not adopted. I know she is not OP's family. I know that Maya is really Allie's sister. I know that OP has every right to exclude whoever she feels like on her wedding day. I know she owes Allie nothing. I still think she's an a-hole for the way she behaved. I'm not sure why everybody wants to change my mind about it. I agree with them. Michael and Maya's relationship did not start when they were 16. I question my math because I'm not sure how old people are when they're freshmen. I was 14, 15. I went with 14. Yeah. So they've been dating for a long time. Yeah. So this top commenter really went in on this one. Yeah, it is sad that someone would be so openly cruel to a young girl, love, dream, and peach. I don't know, like, why no one tried to fix it? Like, why was it all of that, right? Why was it all of that? Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into our next segment. Let's jump into our next segment. We are going into the Adelson case again. This is the case where the brother of the ex-wife of the person who was murdered, Mr. Dan Markel, conspired with hitmen and his ex-girlfriend to eliminate Mr. Dan Markel. It was a crazy custody battle. I felt like Wendy Adelson was on trial rather than Charlie, but nonetheless, here we are. Let's freaking go into the case. Let me know if you guys watched the case. Let me know. I got through day 4, almost through day 4. They started playing recordings, and the recordings were like very hard to hear, but I could get kind of like the gist of what they were saying based on what the agent, the questions that were asked to the agent afterwards. And I didn't watch all of it because, like I said, it was too hard to sit through, too hard to listen to for me, but maybe you can do it. And I didn't really get all the way through Charlie's defense either, which is pretty short, and I'll probably catch up on it, but we probably won't cover it on the channel. So I'm sure it's him just explaining away things like his attorney tried to explain away. So we have the first witness on the stand was Mr. James Jigger. I think that's how you say his name. I hope I'm saying his name right. I wish I had the pictures to pull up of them, but I don't. Let me see if I can find pictures. And if I don't spell it right, then I'm not going to find it. Let's see if I can find the pictures. No, I don't think they're gonna bring up each of the witnesses. I wanted to go and screenshot all of them, but I didn't. So here we are now. All right. So We got Kimmy is on her way soon, but we're going to go ahead and start with James Jiggers. He was the neighbor to Charlie Adelson. He testified to the crime scene and also hearing the shot. He was basically at home with his wife when he heard two shots, two things which sound like shots to him. He went over to or went outside and looked, and he saw that Dan Markel's garage was open, and then he saw that the car was on. He figured that Dan was leaving his house, and so he went back in the house. Before he went outside, he did see the green Prius pulling out of Dan Markel's driveway and speeding off. These people were so cocky, they stopped in his driveway and pulled right behind him. Dan is better than me, because if that would have happened to me, that would have spooked me, and I would have been backing right into them people trying to figure out what y'all got going on. Why are you pulling in my driveway? You're being weird. Okay, Mr. Garcia would have been ran over and splatted on the ground, because why are you pulling up behind me, bro? Not we getting real gangster on the first witness, but get it together, breathe. This is YouTube. Okay, so yeah, I would have probably been backing out. I'm already paranoid, so yeah, Mr. Garcia would have been ran over. And they say you're supposed to do that. If somebody's coming at you with a gun or coming at your car in general, you're not supposed to try to back away. You're supposed to drive towards them, because it makes you a harder target to hit. So Dan Markel, if he would have backed up, maybe he would still be here. But you never know. Maybe he never noticed them pulling in behind him. It's a Prius, is a quiet car. Maybe they didn't notice, right? Okay. So he goes back in his house and he's like, wait, Dan hasn't pulled out yet. That's a bit strange. And so he goes over to investigate. He goes into the garage. He sees them all bloody, slumped over. And then he calls the police and lets them know what's going on. I don't think the defense cross-examined him, if I remember correctly. This is where the 911 call and the photos of Markel's in the car was entered into evidence. He confirmed that's what he saw. And then, yeah, I don't think that the defense defense did not ask any questions. So they did not cross-examine. So neighbor, good for being there, because he had that first lead that the police were able to go after. Otherwise, they would have been combing through these videos trying to find a car that kind of, matched, that left at the same time. They could figure it out. I've seen them figure stuff out like that before, but the fact that he started off with that piece of evidence, they knew exactly what the heck they were looking for. Next person that came to testify was Sergeant David Sims. He is now retired. He was one of the police or the sergeants that responded to the scene. He has 28 years of the experience with the police department. He testified to what the crime scene looked like, where the glass was shattered, the fact that his glasses were broken. I believe they went into the house and searched around there. Let's see. He took photos of the scene. Okay. He was there for like the photos of the scene and the hospital. He was there. They asked questions. Okay. Sorry. I skipped a little bit around. Where were we at? He testified to the scene. They checked the house, like I said. And then at that point, he started to hear the EMT sirens. And Markel was still alive at the time. Remember, Dan Markel was shot twice in the head. And one thing that I haven't really specified, his glasses were actually split in half because of the bullet. So there was I believe it was like half of the glasses was on his face and the half was like somewhere else. They were bloody. They shot him at pretty close range. He was able to hear the EMT sirens. Markel is still alive. He's just been shot in the head. And I believe that James Jiger also testified to hearing Markel breathe as well. He stated he didn't move anything. The crime scene was as it was, just to make sure they covered the base on that. And let's see, defense again did not ask questions. And you may ask, why did the defense not ask questions? The reason why Mr. Rashbaum gave us was that they are not denying that Dan was killed. What they're denying is that Charlie had something to do with it, which I guess you don't need to waste your time asking questions to people that investigated the scene because you already know that he died. They're not trying to disprove the fact that he died. They're just trying to disprove the fact that Charlie had anything to do with it. All right, this is where more of the crime scene photos were entered. And then we move on. And I'm sorry, Kimmy, if you did a nice little PowerPoint, because I'm moving on to the third person. Let me see. Let me text it back. I'm starting. Okay. All righty. So then we move on to the third witness that testified. Again, this is a crime that has more to do with the police department. We have Joanne Maltese. She was a retired forensic specialist. She testified that the shot was at close range based on like the blood splatter and the way that the glass was broken. And that the glasses were likely broken from the shot. So I kind of, jumped ahead of my own notes. The glasses were likely broken from the shot because they were split in half and where he was shot at, right? She took photos of the crime scene in the hospital. And then, so one important thing that came up, and we talked about it on Tuesday's live stream, was the fact that Wendy had bourbon in her car. She was asked by the defense. This is the highlight question for the defense. The first person that he actually cross-examined, he asked, "Why did you take the picture of the bourbon?" Homegirl was like, "Because they told me to." Like, what do you mean, why did I take pictures of the bourbon? Like, I was told to take pictures of the bourbon. What more do you want from that? I guess he was trying to figure out, like, oh, what would the motive be behind the bourbon that Wendy bought? Because basically they took pictures of her van as well. And then he was like, "Well, did you know that Wendy was going to a party?" Why would she know that? And so that's what she said. She was like, "No, that has nothing to do with me. I took a picture because I was told to take a picture." What do you want me to do about that? What do you want me to do with the fact that she bought bourbon for the picture? They told me to take a picture of it. I took a picture of it. Okay. Crazy. It's just crazy. Let me go ahead and jump into the chat to see what the people are saying. I'm going to try to keep up with the actual chat of what we're talking about. Okay. A says, yeah, because Wendy benefited the most from the hit. Yes, she did. She definitely benefited the most. And that's why I said I felt like Wendy was on trial. How did all of this freaking evidence get in on Wendy? Wendy, what's going on? Okay. Summer Butterfly says, haven't watched it. What's it about? So just a brief recap for, I know the people that's been watching since last week, you already know what's going on. This guy, Charlie Adelson, just completed his trial for conspiracy to commit murder, and murder for hire of his ex-brother-in-law. He was found guilty. The plot was that his sister wanted to move away from Tallahassee to South Florida in Miami, and the court told her no. Then Mr. Dan Markel, the person who was killed, started filing motions saying that she didn't want grandma. He didn't want maternal grandma around the children without supervision. And we're going to talk about Wendy's attorney also testified. So we're going to talk about it. So they basically came up with a plan to get rid of Dan, and he enlisted his girlfriend and her baby daddy and his friend to go down and kill this man. And they did. And now the two shooters are in jail. The girlfriend is in jail, or ex-girlfriend is in jail. And now Charlie is in jail. Next people we have up, who's up next? We got Wendy, we got Donna. Donna is Charlie's mom. Wendy is the sister. I would be very surprised if they don't get charged in this. And I wonder if Charlie's gonna flip. I don't think he's gonna flip because he's gonna appeal this for sure. A says Wendy and Donna and her husband What about them? Oh, they're the one that benefited the most. Mary Malaki says, my oldest son got married in September. The bride didn't have her grandparents in any of the professional photos. Is my dad or daughter-in-law the a-hole? Why? Why did she not let her grandparents in the photos? And I don't think so. I think that people have the right to have whoever they want in their photos. And that's why I said, are we coddling because it was a child? Because grandparents, sorry, you probably did something to make her not want you in the photos. You're an adult. But to exclude a literal child for no other reason than the fact that she's not your blood relative, but you have her literal sister in the picture who is not your blood relative but is married into the family, that's not immediate family, in my opinion. That is extended family at that point. Immediate family are the people who you live with. So her and her husband would technically be her immediate family. If you want to get really into like the nexus of the family, then you would include your siblings and your mom. But including married into the family spouses, I don't think that's considered immediate family. That's just my opinion. You can, cause a riot if you want. And that was to the Am I the A-hole story. Chris Mullen says, I watched the trial. Wendy was very likely the mastermind behind it all, but she's been clever at avoiding arrest so far. I don't think she was the mastermind. I think her family felt like they needed to help her. I feel like she knew she needed help. She went to people that would help her, but I don't think she was the mastermind. Although she is a lawyer, I don't think she was the mastermind. I think she knew about it for sure. I think she knew about it. But I think Donna and Charlie were the mastermind. Love Dream and Peach says, I watched the last week and he seems guilty AF, right? And I'm waiting for Donna and Wendy to get arrested next. They have to. Like, you can't just sweep this under the rug now. Like, Donna and Wendy were on trial last week, okay? So you cannot tell me you don't have enough to arrest them, especially with the jury finding him guilty. They're going to have a lot more, fire for a jury to be on their side. Hello, Sakatoa. Welcome into the live stream. Nice to see you tonight. Tanya D says, was that intentional? If so, then yes, talking about leaving the grandparents out of the photo. Sokotoa says to Mary, it's hard to say if she's the a-hole. I think it depends on her relationship with them. I agree with that. Tanya D says, I missed the neighbor's testimony. It was pretty short. It was pretty sweet. He was pretty likable. Okay, Tanya D says Spicy Brie. It's already coming out for sure. Mary Malaki says, I say yes, my daughter-in-law is the a-hole. The bride's grandparents and I took care of her and my son's child since birth. We both watched him while she went to college. Poor grandma. Oh, that's so sad. See, you have more information. That's why it's hard to do these stories. Nanakin says, always replay, but love your show. Thank you very much. Nice to see you popping into the live stream. Mary Jane says, ouch, glasses. Yeah, I would be devastated if I was shot in the glasses. Like, you shot that man in well, I guess it was the back of his head. Oh, and then it went through. Oh no. That just made me feel uncomfortable. Tidy says, we appreciate the replay crew to Nannikins. Sakatoa says to Mary, oh yeah, I'd be looking at her with the side eyes. Like, did you really even want me in the picture at this point? Mary Malak says, I split my glasses in half without a bullet. I mean, it's easy to do for sure. I think I'm going to do it every day. But I don't know. It's just an extra layer when that actually knocks, I don't know. That kind of pisses me off. Okay, let's see here. Where we at? Kathleen says, you're a lady, Bree. The my brothers and dudes friends do make no sense to me. As a woman that's scared of being murdered every day. Okay, yeah. I see what you mean. Like, yes, you would be paranoid because you're a woman and you think that everyone's after you. I told my husband this. And he was like, wow, I didn't think that women, I didn't think that y'all have to go through that or think that way. I'm like, yeah, because no one's like, okay, most women, we're talking about most women, we're not built, we're not yoked, we're not much of a fight, right? There may be some women with some training and all of the things, but most women are not really going to be a challenge. If you're trying to kidnap them, you're probably going to be easily kidnapped or eliminated or taken, taken and held hostage. First of all, no, maybe not no woman. Most women do not want to take men hostage, okay? Most women get married to men and feel like they're still the one that's a hostage. They feel like they're still the one that's the hostage. Nonetheless, most women are physically not as strong as men. So unless you're going and picking up the smallest of small men who are likely still stronger than you just because of their genetics, like you're still going to struggle to take that man off the street, right? And if you're another man trying to kidnap other men, like sure, little guy might be, your easier target, but who's the easiest target? Children and women, because most women we're not working out to the extent that men are, and just genetically we're not as strong. So yes, we do have to be a little bit more paranoid. If a man gets attacked on the street of another man trying to grab him, he will try to fight him and will probably have a fighting chance. But most women trying to fight a grown man do not have a fighting chance. So I definitely get what you're saying there. Mary Malaka says, Bree, no. He did not cross the first two witnesses, and he didn't cross-examine a lot of the witnesses, honestly. Mary Jane says to Kathleen, Bree is the lady of the melty cheeses. What does that mean? Tiny says, was the defense trying to deflect or hint that Wendy has something to do with the planned out? To me, they were trying to hint that someone else was responsible in close or in opening. It made me think he was trying to blame his mom and his sister. Okay, so I don't know if that was the message. It wasn't the message that he was going for, but that's what I thought from opening statement. But as the case rolled out, what they're saying is that someone was blackmailing him and his mom, and they're the ones that they did pay, but it's because they were being blackmailed. And I don't think that's what they said in opening. I really feel like they changed their story when the jury probably looked at them stupid with the opening that he gave. Let's see. Oh, you were saying to plant doubt. Oh, I see what you mean. I was having a hard time reading that, but I knew what you meant. Chris Mullen says, it will probably be Donna and Harvey next to be charged. I don't feel like they have a lot on Harvey, though. I feel like Harvey was out of it. What do y'all think? Let me know in the chat and in the comments. Do y'all think they have enough on Harvey? I don't know. Cricket says, I described this case to my friend and she said, nothing says love like giving your grandkids trauma. That's exactly what they did. But my girl was happy picking them up and dropping them off from school right across the street from her house. We're going to get into it. Let's see here. Mary Malika says, I just realized I'm 5 minutes behind going to 1.5 speed. It's okay. Catch up. We are right in front of you. Chris Mullen says, yeah, true. Maybe it was Donna who orchestrated it all. I think it was Donna and Charlie because Donna ain't got nothing else to do. Okay. Charlie got other things to do, but he's, what people might call a narcissist or controlling or think that he can get away with everything, or just a man in general. Sorry for any of the men in the chat. Mary Jane says, I've been glued to Maya. I have no idea about this case except it sounds messed up. I don't really know what's going on to take care of Maya. I just watched the verdict today and it completely shocked me what the case was even about. I thought it was a criminal trial, but it wasn't. Chris Mullen says Wendy would only testify if they gave her immunity from prosecution for anything she says during the trial of Charlie, but she can still be indicted. So she's only given immunity from what she said during the trial. So when she was being a lying liar who lies and acting like she didn't know anything, they can't then pull those transcripts from Charlie's trial. So I definitely understand. They're like, we're gonna indict you, but we're not going to charge you for anything that you say in Charlie's trial. She was definitely up there protecting her brother. I'll give her that. Nat Atat says, LOL, like that question people were asking guys, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? The question for girls is often, do you think about being murdered? Yeah, they don't. They don't. They literally don't. Well, my husband says, like, when we're walking in the parking lot, I don't. Literally, the other day, I didn't tell him this, but the other day he says, you didn't look around once in the parking lot, because I'm like, I don't look around in the parking lot because you're right there with me. However, the whole time walking in the parking lot, I was like, what if somebody comes up and attacks me or tries to kidnap me or tries to kill me? And then I go, well, if they do that, at least my husband is there to, like, at least try to stop it or make a distraction. So I'm thinking about it. I'm just not actively looking. So, but when I'm by myself, then yes, I'm going to actively look and try to think of, oh, if someone attacked me, how would I beat them back up? I don't know. But no, I don't look around when my husband is there. Why would I look around? He can do the looking around and he's going to be the muscle in the situation. I will probably have to run away and get the car and, come pick him up, So, and I don't know. I feel like most people don't attack couples, and my husband's a pretty decent size. So I don't think people would try to kidnap me in that moment or attack us in that moment, because my husband is going to put up a pretty good fight. If he was a smaller dude, maybe sure, I might look around a little bit, but he's a pretty decent sized guy that not a lot of people are going to want to attack. Chris Mullen says, I did Wing Chun Kung Fu and women's self-defense when I was younger. It was fantastic. Wing Chun is perfect for smaller women and very effective. I know there are some pretty good moves that I probably should learn because I'm not that tall. But I feel like I got some pretty strong legs, so you don't really want to mess with me on that. But no, I definitely need to take self-defense, especially getting older. You're not as quick, you're not as agile. But yeah, I see. Mary Malaki says, Bree is on fire and I'm here for it. Thank you. I'm like, what have I said on this live stream? I don't know what's out there of me. Chris Mullen says to Nat Tat, after watching all these trials this past year or so, I find myself more often wondering what I would say if I was ever accused of murder. Right. Right. You're trying to think of, you're like, I wouldn't get caught. And you're not supposed to think of it like that because it's a bad thing. If you're doing that, it is definitely a bad thing. But at the same time, it's like, they're not going to catch me. I watch Law too. I'm not going to get caught. I was watching First 48 for a couple weeks and I was like, man, why as soon as they go in there, they're going to talk, they're going to snitch on themselves. They're going to go in there one time, they're going to lie. And then the next time they come in, they singing like a canary, right? Chris Mullen says, no, I think Harvey is pretty clear. Really? I missed Harvey. They did not consider the kids at all when they planned and carried this out. Exactly. Although in their minds, they were doing it for the kids, but no, they were doing it for the adults and their selfishness. Love Dreaming Peach says, since when he was a lawyer or is, do you think she was trying to plan it from the legal angle, like how to get off? Yes. I think they did. She said it herself in her first interview. I would assume that I am the prime suspect because I'm the ex-wife. Yeah, lady. We do think that you're a suspect, and you are a suspect. You're still a suspect, okay? So, and then you drive by his house. Weird, but yeah, you're a suspect. They had the alibis lined up. I definitely think that she was involved in the plan, sure. But the mastermind, I think, was Donna. Honestly, she don't got nothing to do, in my opinion. Diane says, I don't think they will charge Harvey. I didn't get enough on Harvey. Maybe I missed it, but I didn't get much. His name definitely wasn't mentioned as much as Donna and Wendy's trial that just happened last week. Barely heard Charlie's name. Chris Mullen says the verdict for Maya case was amazing. It did go well for her. Love Dreaming Peach says Wendy, not when he. Am I saying when? For which one? Did I mess something up? Joders, does Wendy lose immunity if she lies? No, she was given immunity, so basically it can't be used against her even if she did lie. See, Ty says, I always look at parking lot, always check the back seat. I check the back seat a lot too. It's like someone somehow got into my locked car because it's possible, right? With this day and age. Before getting in, I'm hyper aware at all times. Mary Jane says, I used to think my dad could fight off any crook. What do they call those? What do they call those things where it's like, it's very unrealistic? I don't know, but I can't even think of the word, but it's just like, my fault, my fatal fault. I don't know what it is. Yes, I am the same way. You can fight off any crook. My dad too, Mary Jane. So your dad can't be the crook and my dad can't be the crook because someone's going to have to lose. Okay. Chris Mullen says, I'm usually more worried about some idiot accidentally running me over in the parking lot. That is very true too. People drive crazy in the parking lot. But now I will be looking for lurkers as well. You don't already look for lurkers? This is turning into a women's support group in parking lots. Mary Jane says, Chris Mullins always check the backseat. Always have to check it. And I always I'm looking in the weirdest spots. Like, can a grown adult literally fit under my seat? Probably not. But am I checking? Yes. Mary Malarkey says, I had no idea Dan Markel said he didn't want grandma around the children. Yeah, that was like one of the bigger motions that he filed, was that she was calling him stupid in front of the kids and that he actually heard her call him stupid while on like a video call. And so he said that he wanted her to be supervised around the children so that she's not disparaging them or disparaging him. Cool, will do. Cricket says, what you say after being accused of murder? I ain't talking unless you're my lawyer. Exactly. Talk to my lawyer. Because even if you're not guilty, you might say something that makes you guilty. Like homegirl Wendy talk about, yes, I would be the prime suspect, but after me, you should definitely look at my brother Charlie, because he said that he was going to hire a hitman, but buying a TV was cheaper. So that's what he got me for my divorce present. So yeah, Miss Lawyer freaking Wendy, talk to your lawyer before you go talk to the police. But I'm happy they got caught, so never mind. I don't want to give her legal advice. Love Dream and Peace says, do you really believe Charlie and Donna would kill the father of Wendy's kids without her okay and approval? I didn't say she didn't say the okay and approval. I said she definitely knew, she definitely was part of the plan, but I don't think she was the mastermind. I don't think she made the plan. I don't think she reached out to anyone. They barely talked to her about it, or maybe she was smart enough to only talk to them about it in person. I think she thought they were already always meddling in her life and she knew they would help them. Kind of like you, like, if I go and tell my husband a man punched me in the back of my head, I'm not going to say, oh, can you go beat him up? If I tell my husband this man punched me in the back of my head, my husband's probably going to go beat the man up. You know, so you plant the seed. I think that's what Wendy did, but I don't think she was like the literal planner of everything. I think Donna and Charlie did most of the planning. They was always talking about that girl anyways, according to the phone calls, even years after the situation. Tony D says, exactly, the cricket, no self-snitching, exactly. Talk to my lawyer. Figure it out, because what people do, and a lot of criminals are not the smartest. And so what they do is situations like this, they go, well, I didn't do it. My friend Garcia, who I rode in the car with, was supposed to do, he was supposed to be the driver, but that day I was driving, I was supposed to be the shooter. But I didn't do the shooting, but I was in the car and I was the getaway driver. So I don't get to go to jail, right? I didn't commit the murder, right? Like Charlie said too. Oh, if I'm far away from the trigger, I don't pull the trigger, I'm not going to jail. No, you dummy. You're an accomplice, you're a conspirator, you're all of the things, you get the same charge. And a lot of people don't know. I didn't know that before I went to law school. So yeah, a lot of people don't know that. We're only 3 witnesses in. I was trying to give some time for Kimmy to pop in, but she is not here yet, and I don't have the PowerPoint. So we are going forward with notes on my phone. So I'm sorry you guys don't have something more visually appealing to see other than me, but that's okay. Let's see. Oh, Kimmy popped in. I see her. Okay. We are at 34 likes with 29 people watching live. If you haven't hit the like button, please do. All right, Kimmy, I see you with your headphones in. Are you wanting to pop on the screen? Are you good? I don't know if she can hear me. Can you hear me backstage? I don't know. Okay. She's fixing her headphones. So I will pull it here. And when you give me the okay, then I will bring you up. Just let me know when you're ready to come on, Kimmy. Let's see here. We did Joanne and okay. I don't want to pop you onto the screen if you're not ready. Kimmy's going to help me talk about things. Oh, you are ready? Okay. I am adding you to the stage. Hello, Kimmy. Welcome into the live stream. How are you today? I cannot hear you. Give me 1 second. It's me. Let me know in the chat, guys, if y'all can hear Kimmy. I think my settings on my computer, I need to fix them.
Hello.
Oh, there you go. I can hear you now.
Okay.
All right. Sounds good. How are you today?
Good. Sorry I'm so late. I have to go out of town this weekend, and it was supposed to be Saturday afternoon, but now it's tomorrow morning-ish, so I lost like a day.
Okay, yeah. I'm doing my husband's party, so I'm all over the place right now too. So I definitely understand. All right. So we kind of already went through 3 of the witnesses. I don't know if you were able to like listen in. Did we get the PowerPoint up?
Yeah, let me do that.
Okay. Yes. So we already did James Geiger. I don't know how to say his name.
Geiger.
Geiger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, one of those. And then we did Sergeant David Sims, and then we already did Joanne Maltese, who is the forensic specialist. So we are moving on to Dr. Anthony J. Clark. Were you able to get photos of everyone or no?
Oh, yeah. I'm real frustrated. I missed the beginning. I'm proud of my beginning, so.
Yeah, I know. That was like I'm trying to save it.
Let me. Hello, everyone.
Yes, everyone's saying hi to you. Let me see. I think there is oh, thank you, Mary Jane, for the lights and my setup that's not all the way set up. And then Chris Mullen says, I think that Wendy is a manipulator. She set her then boyfriend up to take the fall for murder. Yeah, we did mention that. We did talk a little bit about that on Tuesday. But he left town a day earlier than he planned. She told her parents over and over Dan was awful to her. Exactly. I definitely think she was the one planting the seed. Okay.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah.
Okay, so
oh, I completely spelled it wrong.
That's okay. There's so many. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
I think I told you in text that captions spelled names so many different ways.
Right. Wrong.
Yeah. Do you want me to run through the pictures of the stuff that I missed quick, or no, just jump where you are?
Yeah. Let's look at the pictures a little bit. So this is James Geiger.
Yeah.
Yes. He is the neighbor.
Mm-hmm. He called 911 on the day of the murder. Through him, the state admitted on the left, that's State's Exhibit 5. And then on the right.
Yeah, you got way more than I got.
So that's their houses on the right, which on the left is Markel's, on the right is Geiger's. And this little window right here, you can look out. This is State's 2, which is the view from his front window. So I think I heard you mention that he was sitting in his front room with his wife and they heard like a noise, a loud bang. So he went to that window. And he saw like a silver or white colored Prius out of the corner of his eye. Prosecutor showed him that picture on the left and asked if it was consistent with the vehicle he observed. He said, yes, remember that picture for later. Then on the right is an aerial map of the residences. He said that he saw the car quickly back up out of the driveway and then go towards Benton Road. I don't know on these little lines. I barely know with my own map, so I can't tell you.
Yeah, I'm not.
But yeah. So there's also 6 and 7 exhibits. of he saw the garage door was up. Like you said, he went, thought everything was fine, went back, kept looking out the window. It wasn't. So he went back and found him. So then we've got David Sims, the retired sergeant who responded to the 911 call. He said that's what it looked like when he got there, except the doors were closed. Then they had the crime scene photos of this with the little like shot hole there where it looked like a projectile had entered or exited. He said that he also saw a cell phone in his left hand, a business card in his right hand. Half of the eyeglasses were in his lap, half were on the floorboard, as if they'd been like broken on the bridge. And then in these pictures, you can see on the ground, like there's half of them. There's a shattered glass and all of that. He said he didn't move the car. It's how he found it. The doors were all locked. No sign of forced entry. None of that. So then Joanne Maltese, she's a retired police forensic specialist. She took photos and the physical items of evidence. So that's the back seat with the car seats. That's the glasses. I'm sorry, that might be extra painful for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then his wallet with the contents in there was in the glove box. She said the glove box was like closed when she arrived. And it didn't appear anything had been taken. They're all there. More photos of the hole. She said it was consistent with a bullet hole. She collected actual glass. She went to the hospital. Got pictures of the stippling on his arm a little bit. Also, she went to the Tallahassee Police Department and got Wendy's van and the bourbon on the right in the receipt. And I didn't pick up on the bullet whiskey thing until Cross came in, because she was the first witness that was cross-examined. And so he like asked about how many houses were taped off. And then he asked for 20 to be put back up with bullet whiskey. And he's the one who said, is that bullet whiskey?
Right.
And I didn't pick up on it at all until he said it. Then, like you said, he asked, is there a reason you took the photo? Not best question, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. So then they had the DNA stipulation where swabs collected from the crime scene that she collected, Joanne Maltese, were tested, but it wasn't enough to get any DNA off it. And then now this is where you're at, right? With Dr. Clark?
Okay. Right. So before Dr. Clark came on, the defense tried to, or they did object to the admission of several of the pictures of his injuries. However, one of the elements of the case is to prove that he died, and they were able to admit, I think there was like 11 pictures of Dan Markel dead in the hospital. And basically the defense argued that it will be prejudicial because the photos are bad. They're not contesting the fact that he's dead, so there's no real reason for them to admit the evidence. The judge was like, no. They're like, no, they're gonna go ahead and admit it into evidence. Let me see if there was any notes that I had. Okay, yeah, they argued they need to prove every element of the case. And they went ahead and allowed Dr. Anthony to, lay the foundation. And here's Dr. Anthony. He is the associate medical examiner at whatever hospital he went to. He's the one that examined Dan Markel and looked at the injuries. He determined the cause and manner of death, which was the 2 gunshot wounds. Do you have another slide on him, or is that one it?
Oh no, I've got several. So
okay.
So he had x-rays. The one on the left, he said, of course, the really dense white areas are the bullets. And he likes to look at laterals too on the side, because if you just look straight on, you can't really tell how far back the one kind of in his brain is. And then he did discuss the autopsy photos and which shot he thought was first, what kind of firearm he thought it was. But the autopsy photos, I missed them being argued. They obviously weren't shown on the stream.
They didn't show them on the screen, so they just talked about them, and they didn't show any of that to us.
So he had his little pointer with his beard and his tattoo. I thought he was so cool. I really liked him. And so he talked about those exhibits, and then the one that we were able to see was another close up of the like stippling on and the crescent shaped
This
there.
poor guy. And let me
Yeah.
stop you because I was only listening. I wasn't watching because I was cleaning up. So I didn't see a lot of these pictures. And so I'm just looking at him like this poor guy. Like he's literally not alive anymore in the pictures.
Yeah, I don't know how, because they asked about let me see which, because I have notes in the slide. Like the entrance wounds,
Right.
and it's here, I guess. Of no, wait, it's this one. Here we go. Okay. So there's the bullets. The one in the top left is from his left jaw area. The can you all see if I, oh, okay, yeah, you can see. So this right here is, wait, this one down here. And then this like deformed one is the one up here. And he talked about whether or not it would have been immediate death, and that was sad.
Right. Because he was alive for 14 hours after the
Yeah.
shot. And
Yeah.
then he also did testify to the bullet coming from, I believe, a revolver, so it wouldn't leave any of the shell casings.
Yes, I remember he said that, because he also, when he was talking back on, I think, yeah, no, when he was talking about the different autopsy photos, he was talking about the different abrasions, like around the cheek wound. There were irregular abrasions from the glass shattering and exploding on his face. There were coarse abrasions or scrapings, like on his ear, that he called pseudo stippling. Small abrasions or scrapings, consistent with gunpowder stippling. So the poor guy really, that's awful.
It was horrible. And then did you have any more slides on him?
For him, no, I've just got the firearm stipulation.
Oh, that's what I had next in my notes. Oh yeah, I sent you my notes, huh?
Yeah.
So in between the doctor and the FBI agent, or yeah, it's Patrick Sanford, the FBI agent, the parties agreed that the shots were fired from the same gun. So it was one shooter, not multiple shooters, not multiple guns. And then let's see. I think that's basically what your slide says, right? And then it was from the same revolver.
Yeah, I just copied what the judge said, essentially, which the projectiles contained in 122 and 123 were examined microscopically, and they were from the same revolver.
Okay. And then we move on to Mr. Patrick Sanford, who is the FBI special agent that investigated the crime. The reason why the FBI was involved is because there were leads that went outside of Tallahassee. So there's certain parts of the case that the Tallahassee police could not investigate. As we know, if you guys have been watching for the past week or so, the killers are in Miami. So they needed the FBI to get involved so that they can go ahead and cross the county lines to get the leads in Miami. Let's see. He talked about the divorce. He is the one that got the divorce file admitted with the 400 some odd pages.
576.
Yeah, 576 pages. He got that admitted. How was he able to admit it? Because they obtained it in their investigation. And so he was familiar with the file, and he had been through the file because he had to find the motive, right? He also testified to the fact that if Dan Markel was no longer here, would Wendy Adelson benefit financially from him not being there? He said, yes, she would. She basically would get $4,800 per month in Social Security. He believed that there was a life insurance and about $100,000 in a 401k, and then also his pension and deferred compensation, which Kimmy has all the numbers up on top for us so that everyone can see it. This is turning into, I feel like we are doing the trial at this point. They should have let us up there. Kimmy did a great job with the PowerPoint. She definitely included
shucks.
more information than I would have included. So I definitely appreciate it. So let's see here. He also testified to the gym video, because Dan Markel went to the gym. They saw him park. They basically took still shots instead of making the jury watch the entire video of the parking lot. They took still shots of when Dan Markel's car came in, when the Prius came in, when Dan Markel went into the gym, and they identified the vehicle and the route that was taken to get back to Miami. And I believe he also talked about the bus videos too. I don't see a note on here. But he did talk about the bus video also tracking the cars, right?
Yes. So, yeah, they had the little clips that they showed. The blue in the top left is Dan Markel's car. Then in the bottom is the Prius. That's Dan Markel going into the gym. That's them just driving around while he's working out. He leaves, and then they follow, and we have the bus video. So this is bus 505 that first saw the blue. The video shows it like pass, and then the orange follows afterwards. It shows them at a stoplight, which it also in the bottom right shows them in the turn lane. That's a route to get to Dan's house. And so that bottom right picture is at 10:51, and this is bus 505. So then bus 707 at 10:55. Yeah, at 10:55 captures it pulling up alongside and passing it. And so the photo earlier that was showed to Mr. Geiger for, is this the same? Is from the bus in the top left. And so this is going away from Mr. Markel's residence. And so they said that knowing that they must have a lot of buses all over the place to be able to capture this much footage. But that said, they said that or put the murder window down into those 4 minutes between 10:51 and 10:55. And then they also, through that bus video, were able to like see some of the defining features on the car and the people in it a little bit.
Right. And so they pointed out that mirror on the passenger side is actually black, but if it was the original mirror, it would have been the same color as the car. It would have been the green. And then I believe there was like a dent or something on the hood, if I remember correctly. I didn't take any notes on that, but that's in my brain. So so they went ahead and identified the car driving to his house and then also leaving the house. They also noticed on the identification in the car, they call it a sun pass, which is kind of like a fast pass for using certain lanes on the freeway in Florida. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I don't know if it's like, because I know here we have fast track and that's just for like bridges. We don't have like, well, I guess we do have fast track lanes if you're like in LA, but I don't live there. And then like I know in Texas, they have something like the Sun Pass where you have that pass and you can drive in the carpool lane or, the fast lane. And so that's what that car had. So with that Sun Pass, they were actually able to track the actual route that was taken back to Miami. And they took the long way around because that's just what they do in this case. No straight shot. He also testified to who rented the car. They pulled out the contract of from Rivera renting the car and listing Garcia as his brother on the rental agreement. And then he also testified to the fact that Catherine McVanois, which is Charlie Adelson's girlfriend, who's now in jail for this, was paying her on the payroll for quote unquote cleaning services, but we'll get into the employees that testified that she never worked there, right? And then he also testified to the amount of checks that she was receiving. He was not giving her one check at a time. He was giving her stacks of checks, 2 to 3 checks at a time, so that he quote unquote didn't have to see her as much as what Mr. Rashbaum said. I don't know how that sounds any better, but that was the excuse that he gave, right? And then are you jumping over to, are you just showing a picture of her?
Yeah, I was just showing it because I had in the thing.
Okay. Did you have any comments on the rental agreement?
So on the rental agreement, not really. It has the bottom like 59 or whatever was their suspect tree. And so the phone numbers they have on there match, like you mentioned, with Luis Rivera and the brother. Oh, actually, I did want to mention the Sun Pass that they use for the toll booths. On the contract, you can see that it says like tolls $7. And so they essentially like paid $7 for one of the things that like was used to get them caught. So I love that.
Okay. And now they paid to add it into the car.
Well, no, whatever the Sun Pass like charged.
Oh, what it was charged. Okay.
Yeah, they added it to his contract. So on the contract, it shows that they had to pay $7 for tolls.
Right.
So they had to pay $7 for what track they're.
And then after they did something like that, that's so like, I don't understand how people can do those kind of things and then just live a regular life afterwards. You know, we'll talk about it, but buying cars and motorcycles and just living the high life on basically most people's normal salary, but they got it all up front. So I guess I see what they mean. So the defense actually cross-examined the agent. He had a little vendetta against him, I guess. He talked about the sequence of checks, which I mentioned earlier, that he was giving her stacks of checks. And what he wanted to point out was like, okay, because he didn't want to see her, right? Because he was getting blackmailed and the FBI agent was having none of it. He also talked about the emails of whether, I forgot, the FBI testified to the emails between Donna Adelson saying, oh, well, offer him $1 million, or is that illegal to offer him $1 million? He pointed out that Charlie never, quote unquote, came up with the ideas in the email, but Charlie and Donna talked on the phone all the time. So who knows if Charlie got on the phone and was like, well, maybe we should offer him $1 million. And then Donna goes, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Let me send an email to her lawyer. We don't know if that happened. He just didn't put it in writing that he's the one, quote unquote, coming up with the ideas. I don't know why Rashbum focused on that so much. It's like he had these little nuggets. Like, okay, you didn't tie yourself up in this particular thing, so let me focus on that. So he talked about the emails and whether it was any Charlie's ideas. He asked about whether Wendy had plans to stay in Tallahassee. Oh, did you know that she had this plane ticket to fly out of Tallahassee? Did you know she was looking for a house in Tallahassee? Do you know that she was looking to rent an apartment in Tallahassee? And homeboy is just kind of like, or not homeboy, but the agent is kind of like, no, I didn't know that. Or yes, I did know she was looking for a house, but she ultimately didn't buy one and things like that. Let's see. He also, this one was a good one of Rashbum. He also asked him about whether murder for hires are paid on payment plans, or do you normally get paid, upfront in full? And are extortions normally paid on payment plans? And I'm like, I don't think an extortion is necessarily paid on payment plans, but it is a situation where someone constantly comes back to you to get more money. But I don't think they go, hey, you're going to owe me $100,000 and I'm going to come back every week for $1,000. Like, I don't think they necessarily set that up. It's just kind of like okay, I know you did this thing. I'm going to come to you, give me $5,000 and I won't say anything. And then a month later, okay, well, I already used all that $5,000. I still know this information. Give me $10,000 and I won't say anything. So his whole idea about a payment plan, layaway, murder for hire, I don't think it didn't really do what he was trying to get it to do, in my opinion. But I definitely see where he was going. Are most hitmen going to want their money up front? Sure. But I have also watched a lot of wives with knives that try to hire someone to kill their kid, kill their husband. And it's okay, you get $3,000 up front and then you get, $5,000 or you get this many dollars. It's never all of the money at once. And from what I have seen, let's see here. And then, so he also testified. The agent basically didn't say, oh, yes, this is how it happens. He just said, you know what? It's a case by case basis. Sometimes you might get paid multiple times. Like I said, in my experience of seeing it, it's, you get some here, some there, and maybe you'll have another payment plan, a payment some other time. But he did pay the actual shooters. He paid them their amount up front, but he paid Catherine McBanois, his girlfriend, on the quote unquote payment plan. So he was closer to her, and maybe she was just agreeable. I don't want a big chunk of money, just, help me out going forward. So I don't really agree with him. The agent never admitted, and this is what I didn't like in defense's closing. He said, agent said that he's never seen one done on the payment plan, but the agent testified to the fact that each of these hire for murders or murder for hires that he's seen, they've stopped it basically before it happened or right after it happened. So he never got to see whether it was a payment plan or not, right? So I didn't like how he mischaracterized the evidence on that one. Arrest him immediately. All right. And then the prosecution went ahead and did a redirect with Mr. Sanford, the FBI agent, and they emphasized that the motion to keep Donald Adelson away from the kids without supervision, he emphasized that was never heard because Dan was killed. They also emphasized that she never flew out of Tallahassee for vacation, which was something that the defense brought up because she moved to Miami after Dan died. And then she never bought a house in Tallahassee because of the murder. So I think that the prosecution did a really good job bringing it back and saying, okay, like, sure, maybe Wendy had all of these plans and her quote unquote intent because her and her whole family had a murder plan. And what did her mom say? You have to be a good actor. You have to be a good actor. So yes, she has to act like she's still living in Tallahassee. I don't think it was a good argument. And the prosecution just kind of brought it back together and be like, but she never did those things, right? And the agent was like, no, she didn't do those things. So that's all I have on Agent Sanford. Kimmy, did you have anything else on him?
I do. And I would like to play devil's advocate a little, actually.
Okay.
So, for the divorce and all of that stuff, on cross, he did point out that the grandmother motion was a full year before the murder, and that there were emails that apparently, like, between Wendy and her attorney, they didn't think it was going to happen. It was called a moonshot, but they figured there was no harm in trying. One of the things that I thought he was really effective at was with the financial stuff. It came out on cross that 2 years before he was murdered, the life insurance beneficiary changed. So it wasn't Wendy. It was his sister, who's the custodian and distributes money to the children. So
yeah, I remember that.
So she's not getting any money from that. The Social Security money does go to help with children. I'd be curious, though, to see the offset of her going from 50-50 to now 100% with the kids and any child support she might have gotten or anything, like how that would balance out. The 401k and the deferred comp and the pension, I don't know why that would have gone to Wendy if 2 years before he switched the life insurance. I would think that he, as an attorney, would have had a will that made sure everything went to the kids. And the fact that they had all of these financial, like, analysts, well, not all of these, but they had very in-depth financial analyses done and bank statements and stuff. And they don't have any evidence that they submitted that any money other than whatever with the Social Security, or if she's requesting and getting it from the sister, like, it's not. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, but I'll go devil's advocate. If it's all really for the benefit of the child, she still technically gets it unless they're saving it until the kids turn 18. So she's still benefiting from it, even if it doesn't go directly to her. But yeah, good point. I forgot about those things. Well, I feel like you said something else that reminded me of something. I can't remember it.
Benefiting from which are you saying? The Social Security or like
The
life
Social
insurance?
Security, definitely, because that is going to be paid to her regardless, because those are, death benefits of what he worked up while he was still alive. And it's for the benefit of the kids until they turn 18. So she's definitely getting that 4,800. As far as the life insurance goes, like, sure, his sister may have been designated the beneficiary, but depending on what Dan's wishes were, are they getting that money before 18? If they are getting it before 18, then Wendy still benefits because she can use it to put them in the best schools or, buy a nicer house for them to live in. 401k, same situation. If it's going to them before I literally just had a case like this. That's why I know. And not that the mom killed the dad, but the fact that he died and the kid is getting all the benefits prior to 18, as long as they put that they're a guardian of the trust or whatever it is, she still can use that money to quote unquote take care of the kids. I don't know how deep you have to go into it and tell them I paid for McDonald's and I paid for this and I paid for that. I don't know how deep you have to do that, but there is a way to get the money before the kid turns 18 so that the money is not going directly to the kids. And I know for sure the Social Security benefit that goes directly to the kids.
Yeah, well, the life insurance, the custodian of that is his sister, though. Mm-hmm. And so I would think she's making real sure that whatever money is being sent would be. You're right. Of course, she does benefit if they're in the best schools and all of that stuff. But the Social Security,
even like saving money instead of her paying for the school, the life insurance is paying for the school. So that gives her more money to buy, whatever she wants to buy with her own money.
Well, but that is what makes me wonder what their child support arrangement was, though. Because if they were 50-50 before, like,
it's probably, they seem to have equal kinds of jobs. They worked at the same place. So I would assume that their salaries were, this is all my assumption, their salaries were pretty equal. So there probably was not any child support.
Well, but she only had to pay half of expenses, though.
Right. Yeah. So of course, and that's why they pay out Social Security when you have two parents, it's easy to be able to, take, or maybe not easy, but it's easier to take care of your kids on the 50-50 paying half of the expenses. However, when someone dies and you've paid into Social Security, your kids get that Social Security. Even if you are disabled and you're getting Social Security, but you're not able to work, your kid gets that Social Security, and it can be, or it is supposed to be credited to your actual child support. So if you're ordered to pay $700, but you're disabled, and you can't really work, the Social Security may, let's say the payout to the child is $700. So basically your child support is taken care of with that. So as long as you work and you pay into Social Security, your kid will get that money either whether you're dead or whether you're disabled, or some of the money if you're disabled.
So do you think Social Security is giving her more money than she would have gotten from him paying his half? You don't think it's just like balancing it out?
I don't know their expenses, so I don't know, but $4,800 is a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. So, I mean, if they're in daycare, assuming that they're in kind of like a normal price, and I don't know prices in Florida either.
Well, Miami.
Yeah. I don't know how much their stuff costs, so I don't really know, but I would say probably, in my opinion, I would say yes, that she's getting more that she would have paid from just the Social Security part of it. I would say yes. But also, like I said, it depends on their actual expenses. And of course, the kids they're probably not in daycare anymore. They're 14, 15. So as they get older, of course, their expenses are going to go down. Unless you put them in like private school, then it goes up. But, it really depends on what their expenses are. So
yeah. Whatever's closest to grandma.
If she's not getting more, I think she's getting pretty equal to it.
Okay.
Of what would be paid, but shoot, I don't know how much their daycare costs. So that was all on Sanford. I didn't take a lot of notes on Wendy. It was just all BS. next?
Yeah, since you covered her like last week, I didn't really do much. So then, Bill Brandon.
Okay, I want to talk about Wendy a little bit.
Oh well.
But I didn't really cover a lot of her testimony, like in my notes, because she was just lying all day, every day. So, and a lot of things like Rashbum said is that, oh, they didn't allow me to admit these emails. Yeah, because they're freaking hearsay. And then as soon as freaking defense starts their case, all the state is doing objection. And Rashbum just did not object. And I'm just like, what were you doing? Like, what were you guys doing over there? And then when they do get objections, they get mad and they go, judge, like stop letting her object. Basically, they did that like 2 or 3 times. So let me go ahead and go into Wendy. It's Charlie Adelson's sister, who is basically the motive. She's basically the motive to allow her to move the kids to South Miami with her brother and her mom. She testified of her that she never had the intent to move after the death. She basically said she packed up a little bit of stuff just to go stay the weekend. Yeah, bathing suits. Yeah, that is what she pointed out. She packed up bathing suits after the murder of her husband or ex-husband to go stay the weekend, and then eventually decided to never go back. No, you already had the plan to never go back, in my opinion, but that's what she tried to say. Only took a few things on redirect. Oh, I don't think I actually took the note on the defense's argument. That maybe that was the defense's. She stated that she learned that Charlie knew the killers during this trial. So she's basically saying she doesn't know anything about the murder. She didn't have any part of the plan, anything of that nature. She learned all of this, and she got really defensive towards the end of her testimony of the prosecution, basically saying that if you want the killers to be held responsible unless it's your family, right? And she was like, no. The prosecution like cut her off, and she was feisty at the end of that. So if you haven't watched her testimony and you want to see something, I would say at least go to the end of her testimony when she was being re-examined by the prosecution, because it got very feisty at the end of that. But yeah, I didn't take a lot of notes on her because she just basically bolstered Charlie's defense, and she didn't really add much to me. What were you saying, Kimmy? Oh, I can't hear you. I don't know if you're trying to talk or not. Let me go ahead and jump back over to, let me see here. I'm gonna go ahead and go through some of the chats because I've been missing them for a little bit. So let's see what the peeps are saying. We got Tanya D saying, that's crazy that he lived 14 hours. I thought it was more immediate. No, he actually suffered. He was still alive for 14 hours after he was shot. We're talking about Dan Markel. Pete Levering says Donna's next, then Wendy. I think that's the order too. For me, I don't see the evidence on Harvey, but maybe, like I said, maybe I missed it. Tiny D says, yes, Kimmy is great with our PowerPoint. Yes, of course. Thank you. Okay, I'm back. I muted you, Kimmy. Oh, snap. Wait, let me see, because I muted you. Try now. Still missing. I don't know what I just did. Was I just quiet that entire time? Let me know. Sound okay. My sound is back. Was I let's see. I'm trying to think. Was I muted that entire time? I can't hear you now, Kimmy. So I don't know what the heck I just did. But you're not muted anymore. Can the chat hear me? I don't know what the heck I just did. Okay. Because I don't think I'm muted. Let's see. Now you can hear me, right? Okay, let me just go through the chat and see moving forward. Or maybe I put my sound to something else. Wait. Okay, I don't know what's happening. Oh no. Okay, let me check my system here. How did we do that? Okay, it's saying that I'm on the right one, but now I can't hear Kimmy. Hello, hello. No. Oh. Okay, can you hear me now? What the heck did I just do? Okay. Can y'all hear me? I don't know what's going on, but Kimmy just popped out of here. And now I don't know if the chat can. Okay, you guys can hear me, but not Kimmy. Okay, Kimmy popped out, so I guess she's gonna figure out what's going on. She has the PowerPoint, so we need her to come back. I don't know what the heck just happened, what the heck I just did. I don't know if it's like my computer that I'm muting. I'm using this roadcaster that obviously I don't know how to work, but somehow I muted her because it was giving us static, and now we couldn't get her sound back on. So I think she's going to try to pop back in and figure it out from there. So it looks like y'all can hear me. So let's go ahead and move on with the chat that people left while we were talking. And hopefully Kimmy can pop back in. Tanya D reminding us to make sure you hit the like button. And if you are enjoying the content, subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the fun. Thank you for that reminder, Tanya D. Always giving the prompts to the chat. Mary Malarkey says that photo of everyone smiling with the kids, that family. Doesn't it all feel like so disgusting? Like it feels so freaking wrong. Let's see here. Love Dreaming Peach says, is that an old picture of Donna or is she a young grandma? I think it's a young picture of her because who I think is Donna in the courtroom, she looks a little. Let me see if I can hear you. No, I can't hear you. Chat, let us know if we can hear her. I don't know what I pressed last time for me to be able to hear you. Is it this one? No. I have no. Let me see if it's my little sound set. We having technical difficulties. We are on a freaking roll too. Let me see here if I can find the freaking sound on my computer and fix it that way. Well, what the heck is this? Give me 1 second, peeps. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can fix it on my end. But somehow she was able to fix it on her end before. Well, she popped back out, but let me see. No, it's saying that I'm on the right sound system. So I don't think it's my thing, but hopefully we can figure it out from there. I'll give Kimmy some time to try to fix the sound on her end. I tried to change it on my end. It looks like it's on the right thing for me. So let me know when it starts sounding okay to you if you check your audio and everything, because I don't think I can really control your audio. So let's get back into the chat. Love Dreaming Peach says, is that an old picture? Yeah. So what I was saying is, who I see in the chat or in the crowd, who I think is Donna, she looks nothing like her in those pictures or in even the video that they caught of her in 2000, what was that, 16 or so. She looks way different if that is Donna, if that's who I think it is. And then Kat is saying bad static. Let me see. Is it my thing? Because I had All right, can y'all hear me? I'm sorry, that was we were on site. Am I back? No. Am I? Can you hear me, Kimmy? And it just looked like my screen just ended. All I did was, let me go back to here. Microphone. Okay, I was getting some static. Okay, but now no one can hear me. Let me see. It's saying that my microphone is working. Okay, so y'all can hear me now, but I muted Kimmy because it was still giving me static. So let me try to unmute her. I basically turned I basically was pressing buttons on my Rodecaster, which like screwed everything up. So let me see if I'm still getting static from Kimmy. Okay, it was a little static, but can you see talk real quick? No, I think something on your mic is still giving us static. I don't know what it is, but when I mute you, it goes away. And then when I unmute you, it comes back. Sorry, y'all, for the technical difficulties helping us figure out how to stream around here. That went bad. Okay, I turned it back off. It's something. I don't know if it's the headphones or something, but let me see if it goes back away. Okay, I'm not hearing anything now. Can you try to talk, Kimmy? But I still can't hear you. So I don't know what the heck just happened. Can y'all hear Kimmy? I'm still getting the static stuff though when you do try to move. So let me see here. Is it me? Yeah, I can hear that. But for whatever reason, I can't hear you. Okay, people still can't hear you, Kimmy, and I don't have you muted anymore, so I don't know what's happening. I'm gonna mute it again because it's still doing that weird stuff. Okay, but y'all can hear me though, so we're gonna have to figure out what's with the mic issue over there. But now I can hear me, and now I can hear the screen, but I can't hear you when you actually talk. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna jump into. I kind of lost all my chats now with that technical difficulty. Thank you, Bri, for hanging in there with us while I try to figure out this super expensive equipment that I don't even know how to work. That's very embarrassing. I turned my own sound off by pressing these little buttons with an ear and a mute button, thinking I was doing something fancy, and I really was just messing things up on my end. So but I definitely unmuted Kimmy. And well, you're muted right now, but I'm able to hear whatever static is coming from your microphone, but I can't hear you when you talk. So let's see if we can figure it out from there. And then let's see, I'm messing up all my screens now. So here's the chat. Summer Butterfly says, child support cannot take from my disability. We kind of explained through that. I know I went mute on it. Okay, so I don't know. Is mine staticky too? Okay, I wasn't saying nothing. Okay, is it your? Does your headphones plug into the computer, or are they just Bluetooth? Because no one's saying anything on the chat if my stuff sounds staticky, but sometimes people do say it does sound staticky. So let me try that. And so I unmuted you now. So let's try some sound. Yeah, I think it might be the headphones. Okay. So yeah, we talked about it federally. If you qualify or if you're the one paying child support, then some of it may not come directly out of your amount, but your kid will be entitled to some of it. Tanya D says, "Uh-oh, the Bree rant. I did go on a rant and then and then technology got me. Okay. Love Dream and Peach says, so the Markels lost their son and been deprived of their grandkids, and they've been poisoned against them by his murderers. And so that was another thing that the court kind of pointed out, is that Wendy was not allowing the grandparents to see the children for a period of time because the grandchildren or the grandparents basically said that the kids should be in foster care until they could get there, because they anticipated that Wendy was going to get arrested. And then at that point, Wendy got mad and she didn't allow them to see their own grandchildren for a period of time. And then I forget whose trial went on, but she was basically painted in a bad light for not letting them see their grandkids. And then she started to let them see them again. But since then, they've only seen the kids 3 times and it's been several years. So yeah, I definitely feel bad for their family. They just kind of got rid of him. And they basically erased him. They took his last name off of the children's name. In my opinion, they erased them. And then so people are saying that they can hear me. Okay, so I guess we are kind of okay. We're still trying to get Kimmy's sound figured out so that we can get her opinion on some of the things. Cheryl C says, if you need to end the stream and start a part 2 stream, that's fine too. We might have to do that. Well, it's something on the audio part of it on Kimmy's end. So hopefully she's able to reconnect and get back to us in a minute. Mary Malaki says Emily did a Control-Alt-Delete once, start a new live. It's back now, at least on my end. So I don't know if it's going to mess up if we redo it. And we got quite a bit to go, and we're already technically 2 hours into the live stream, and I'm pretty sure my husband's gonna get mad at me. So I do need to get moving with the case, but I don't know if Kimmy's able to share the. Are you able to share the PowerPoint still, Kimmy, if you can hear me? Let me see if I have it in our Google Drive. Google Drive. I don't know why I'm trying to sing on the internet, knowing I cannot sing, okay? This is not American Idol, and you are definitely not a contestant, Brie. Okay, no, the PowerPoint is not in the Google Drive, so we don't have Kimmy's lovely work. We don't have Kimmy's lovely work. Let me see. Kimmy says, I think it might have been my headset battery. I switched to AirPods and can hear you well now. Okay. So your AirPods should also have a mic, so let me know if that works, if you're able to set it up or click it to that. Mary Malika says, sadly, the grandparents have to wait for the grandchildren to read about the case. That's so sad. Why would you say that? That's so sad. Read about the case when they're older. Hope they're still here if/when that happens. They'll have to learn about it the hard way, which is pretty sad. And I didn't think about that. And yeah, this stuff is going to be like your uncle's trial was live streamed. These kids are going to see this stuff, and they're going to see their mom on the stand lying about her involvement of getting rid of their dad. And they were so young when it happened. I feel like they don't even really remember their dad like that. Mary Marlaki says, Bree, if you're running late, Alpha will come in and start smooching with you again. Probably. Probably to try to convince me to get out of here. But this case is like a really good case. And it really, caught my attention. Yeah, this case is a really good case that really caught my attention, and I've been watching it and pretty obsessed with it. So I don't know if he'll be able to get me off of this one at this point. Okay, let's see. Tiny agrees he sure will do that. He probably will, but yeah, it is getting late here, so he'll probably be in here harassing me soon. Let's go ahead and jump over to Officer Brandon. I did not get his last name. So Kimmy, if you are still able to share the screen, that would be helpful to the live stream if possible. But it's showing on my end that your device is not connected. So I'm not sure if you can even hear me at this point. Okay, so Brandon, his name is Brendan. I don't know his last name. He was an officer. He did the preliminary report when the shooting was done. He set up the perimeter of the crime tape and the blockages. He testified, and this is the one that saw Wendy pull up to the blockade, and he testified that from where Wendy pulled up, she would have been able to see the crime scene. She would have been able to see like lights going off, like the police emergency vehicles going off. And the fact that she just kind of turned around was weird. He was familiar with the type of car. He remembers actually seeing Wendy. And that's probably why I cannot be in the police force, because for me, I cannot see that well. And I probably would not have recognized Wendy. I probably would have forgot what the car looked like. And that's why I am not in the law enforcement. And so Kimmy is able to share this screen for us. So his name is Bill Brannon. I called him Officer Brandon. See how great I was able to take notes on this. The defense asked to confirm how far away the houses were. So the forensic lady Joanne Maltese stated that it was like 5 or 6 houses down. He came in and stated that it was probably 3 or 4, but he doesn't remember exactly how much. And then so Rashbaum came in to try to say, oh, well, how far was it? Basically trying to catch him in a lie. But it's really more of like, okay, well, now we do 3 to 4 houses, or maybe I thought it was 3 to 4 houses, but I don't remember because it was, 9 years ago or whatever it may be. So he tried to focus on, so how many houses was it? How many houses was it? I don't really think it did what it needed to do. And then on redirect, the prosecution came back and indicated, and Officer Brennan indicated that yes, she would have been able to see at least the police lights from where she was. And we just lost our PowerPoint. Oh no, we lost our PowerPoint. That is okay. Hopefully it comes back on, whatever difficulties that we're having on that end. And then we go on to Mr. Jeffrey Lacoste. I think I'm saying his name correctly. We have quite a bit of people still to go. So we then go on to what is his name? Jeffrey Lacoste. He is the ex-boyfriend to Wendy. And let's see, he testified to the broken TV. He talked about how he went over to Wendy's house one night. They were supposed to have a movie night, and he specifically remembered the movie, but I don't remember what the movie was. And the TV was broken. So he suggested that they watch TV, this TV that Wendy got fixed for her, alibi. He stated that the TV was broken as if someone threw something at it. And then he also testified that the way that it was broken, it was too big or something to where it's like if one of the kids threw a toy at it, the kid wouldn't be able to break it. So he didn't necessarily say it, but basically inferred that Wendy or an adult probably broke the TV on purpose because it looked smashed. And so he suggested that they watch TV in the basement or in some other room with a TV that wasn't broken. Wendy forced him and her kids to watch this movie on a broken TV, which he said he thought it was weird, but he didn't think much into it. He testified to, I believe, being in a hot tub with Charlie, his sister, and I think Charlie's roommate at the time, stating that Charlie had connections to criminals. Either he had connections to criminals or to the police. So he had people on both sides, allegedly, that he could have help him out if he was into some trouble. What else did he testify to? There was a motion in limine filed by the defense for what they call double hearsay, because he testified to Wendy telling him that Charlie stated that he would look into hiring a hitman for her. And the motion in limine basically said that it was double hearsay. Rashbaum said they objected to this in the morning, and the state indicated that they would not bring this up as hearsay. The state came back and said, well, we didn't say we weren't going to bring it up. We said we were not going to bring it up to without an exception. And their exception that they found was impeachment, because basically Wendy said this conversation didn't happen. She never told him that Charlie said he was going to hire a hitman. And so they used this statement from Mr. Jeffrey Lacoste to basically impeach or try to impeach Wendy's testimony that this conversation never happened. She argued that they were breaking up, so why would she tell him anything of that nature? Defendant looked hitman. On defense, Rashbaum crossed asking why he didn't go to the police. If Wendy was saying that Charlie was planning on hiring a hitman, why he didn't go to the police. I think Lacoste did a very good job at explaining that he did not think it was an immediate danger because she said that he looked into it like a year ago. So he did not have any clue that the plan was still ongoing or that it was going to happen. And I think when this conversation happened, like in 2 weeks, Wendy also tried to testify that they were no longer together at the time. However, it came out that this was like 4 days after their quote unquote breakup, but that they met up a couple times after their quote unquote breakup. So the court or basically the defense was like, oh, you should have told. State established that it was most likely they were most likely still kind of together when she told him this information. Let's see. He also stated that he talked to a friend who said this sounds like it's past tense, so it doesn't seem like an immediate danger. So that's why he didn't go to the police immediately. He also talked about the quote unquote celebration dinner, the celebration dinner that they had where Wendy got sick with the sushi. And she testified that they were not there to celebrate Dan's death. He testified that they were there celebrating Dan's death, right? Or the fact that they were about to. Okay, so did I get everything on him? Yep, got that. And then we move on to Stephen Webster. He was Dan Markel's attorney, and he came to testify. This is the guy that I talked about. He didn't do family law, but his buddy referred him and convinced him that he would be able to do it because Dan was also a lawyer and he can teach him everything that he needed to know. He is the one that filed the motion to have Donna supervise when around the children. He thought that the motion was going to be successful. He stated that Dan was very serious of bringing it forward and that he thought that he had a good chance on contempt because a lot of attorneys do not like to do attempt cases. They are basically quasi-criminal. So you can either be ordered to do something by the court, or you can be fined by the court, or you can go to jail. So he stated he would not have taken the case if he didn't think that there was a good chance of him actually succeeding, at least on the contempt portion of it. Let me see. I believe that the defense cross-examined, but I don't have notes on that one. So let's see. Yep, he testified to the fact that the legal proceedings were contentious and that there were ongoing issues. So it makes sense he was never able to argue the case because Dan was removed from the earth prior to bringing the motion forward. And then we can move on. These ones are kind of short. We got, her name is Jua. I don't know how to say her name. Jua Chinda, the ex-girlfriend, another ex-girlfriend of Charlie Adelson. Oh, her name is June. I put Jua. June Chinda. I think that's how you say it. She's Charlie Adelson's ex-girlfriend. Like I said, she came off as a liar, pants on fire, in my opinion. All right, so let me see. I'm still getting the static. Yeah, I'm still getting the static, Kimmy. Let me see. Let's try it again. Okay, there we go. I'll let you try it. So yeah, she's the ex-girlfriend. She testified to her having a relationship with Charlie. She testified that he was not really acting weird. She kind of went back and forth on what she stated. She was interviewed by the public. Let me see, what else did she say? She spoke with, and I said she was interviewed by the public. She was interviewed by a reporter. She's like, I noted she appeared to be lying. She kept kind of contradicting what she had to say. She kept trying to deny what was in the transcript. So they basically asked her, did you say this during, I think it was Catherine McBanoir's trial? And she was like, no, I didn't say that. And the court or the defense was able to kind of contradict her. I don't remember exactly what the statements were because it's a lot in this case. And she basically laughed and scoffed a lot, like, oh, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, no, we were like, okay. Like, it was very, very weird, her testimony. But it's kind of like she was trying. She stated that she had never talked to Charlie before, or not talked to she never talked to Charlie after McBanwell was arrested. She never talked to Adelson's attorney before this, and that was kind of the first questions that the defense asked as well. Have you ever seen me before? And she was like, oh, I'm surprised you didn't depose me. And I'm just like, what is this weird stuff going on? Like, what are you guys talking about? So I just had a pop in. Let me see if I can add your mic to the stage.
Can I take it to where? Can you hear me? Is it staticky?
Mm-hmm. I can hear you
we
now.
Just have a mic thing on there. We can't just have.
I don't think it will play on for the chat to hear if we don't have our little third friend.
If it's not one thing, it's another. I swear on all that's holy.
But it's working. And so we have the chat coming in. What did I say? He has a type. Love Dreaming Beach says, yeah, he does have a type. Right? Think he has a little fetish going on. Tiny D also says, wow, he definitely has a type, doesn't he? Yeah. I thought I was just being mean, but okay, you guys see what I was putting down, right? You picking up what I was putting down on Tuesday. Let me see. I think that's pretty much all I had. The defense did cross-examine her. Like I said, they asked her if she's ever seen Rash Bum before, all of the things. And I don't remember very much about her. I found her to be very annoying and I thought she was lying. So did you have any comments on her?
I don't know why prosecution bothered with her. After a certain point, like, I feel like they made the point that she wasn't gonna testify honestly.
Right.
So is it not like leading and not allowed for them to essentially read into the record what she's allegedly testified to before and say, didn't you say that?
They did though.
They did what?
For some of her statements, they did ask her about what she testified to, and then she like denied it, and they showed her the transcript, and she's like, oh yeah, I don't remember saying that, but I don't remember everything they were trying to ask her, to tell you the truth.
My understanding though was that like it had to be more open-ended. You couldn't have a yes or no question for your own like witness. I thought that was leading or whatever to essentially give them the answer. And I mean, she disagreed and denied it, but wouldn't that still be leading to essentially just repeat what you want to be said and not have the witness say it?
Right. And so I think so you're right, you cannot lead your own witness. However, a yes or no question is not necessarily always considered leading. And I just don't remember I don't know. I just don't remember what they were trying to ask her. So I don't even have any examples coming into my brain. But I do believe that she said no to some things, and prosecution was basically like, so you didn't say this. And then she showed her the transcript. But I could be remembering it wrong.
She had no concept of time, apparently, and knew when nothing was, which I have time blindness. So on the one hand, if that was real, I feel for her, but on the other, like, she had no clue when, because that was a lot of it that I remember them asking, well, around this time was this happening, and did that happen around then?
Right.
You're like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think Charlie probably got mad at her after the first testimony she did, so she kind of had to pull back on everything.
Because she said she still has feelings for him, so.
Yeah, she did.
I don't know. Smiling at him, so.
Yeah. She's weird. I don't know. I feel like she just came for the wrong reason. She kind of came too cutesy for me, and then the way she testified, I'm like, okay, she's trying to act like she doesn't know a goddamn thing around here. Yeah. But she was definitely supposed to be testifying to the way that Charlie behaved after the murder. And she basically said what they needed her to say, that he was pretty much acting normal. I think she said that she didn't know if he had a gun or not, or that he did. I can't even remember.
She didn't know if he slept with it or something.
Okay. But she stayed at his house like almost every night, she said. I don't know. She was annoying. So okay. And then I believe they brought Wendy back, but I didn't really make notes on it.
Yep.
Okay. And they also brought Lacoste back. I made notes on him, but I didn't make notes on Wendy. But it was for the purpose of impeaching her, but they never impeached her.
Yeah.
So Lacoste was also called back regarding Wendy, what she said to Wendy. The defense questioned why he didn't go to the police again. They basically just redid his testimony. She questioned why she would confide in him if they were breaking up, which again, it seemed like they were kind of on the verge of breaking up, but not all the way breaking up. And obviously, in my opinion, Wendy talks too much, just like she talked too much to the police. So I wouldn't be surprised if she told him something like that. He said that she strung him along for at least another week after the breakup. The defense starts to get feisty. So if you're looking for another feisty moment, I would go into this Lacoste second interview with the defense. But I don't remember why he got feisty. I didn't make a note about that, but I did know defense gets feisty.
Well, the first time was a proffer, wasn't it, though? So they had to kind of go through that again once the state recalled him to recover all of that.
Right. And so he was basically still trying to say, okay, well, you have a reason to lie because you're a jilted lover. Why didn't you go to the police earlier? Like, why would she tell you this? And so, and I believe they called Wendy back to just ask her again, did you tell him this? And she just said no, but they never moved to impeach her.
Well, didn't they then call him to impeach her and were allowed to?
Did they?
I thought that's why. Well, I thought that's why they recalled her, so that they could recall him and have him impeach her by contradicting her.
Yes, they did, but they never moved to impeach her. That I remember, they never moved to impeach her from the witness. They just kind of showed she was a liar. Same thing with Catherine McBanois. Defense attorney was trying to impeach her, and he never moved to impeach her.
I didn't even know that was a thing. I thought impeaching was like proving that they're like untrustworthy or lying or something, but I didn't know you had to move to impeach a witness.
Yeah, you have to move because the court has to say, okay, this witness has been impeached because, you know, she lied, basically. So yeah, neither one of them moved to impeach the people they were trying to impeach. Let me see here. Now, they definitely created doubt in the juror's mind about whether they were telling the truth or not.
I'm going to create a poll of how people felt about his testimony because I've seen very mixed results and I did not care for him.
You didn't?
No.
I liked him. I thought he was on it. To me, I thought he was honest. Yes, he probably was annoyed with her, but I don't know. Maybe he lied. I don't know. Yeah, so go ahead and poll the chat and see what they think about it. And then while you do that, I'm going to go ahead and jump over to Brian Fitzpatrick.
Ryan.
This guy, I liked him. He was so freaking feisty. So he was Charlie Adelson's friend from 2012 to around 2018 to 2019. He testified that Charlie was more nervous after Catherine McBanois was arrested. He also testified that Charlie filed a lawsuit against him, and I think that the state did an excellent job in bringing that out before the defense was able to bring it out. They're like, okay, this is the bad part of his testimony. Let's get in front of it before the defense tries to bring it up. And then so the state was basically like, so you don't like the guy? And he was like, no, like I don't like him. He filed a lawsuit against me, but you know, it was dismissed or whatever it was. He was subpoenaed to be there. Charlie, he stated that Charlie never told him about being extorted. Remember, Charlie is trying to say that McBanois is extorting him. And he said he never told him about it. That would be something that Charlie would have told him about because they were best friends at the time. Let me see. I don't know what I put right there. He did tell him about the extortion of his mom. I think that's what I meant to put there. The defense claims he was sued because he stole money from Charlie. He accused Charlie of murder online. So there was like an online forum of him basically saying, I bet Charlie's going to jail. I bet my testimony would get him to go to jail or something along that line. And the defense tried to question him on that. He laughs at the defense trying to point this out, like, yes, I'm on the internet talking mess about him before I testify. So I thought that was funny. So in my opinion, I liked him. What did you think about him, Kimmy?
I liked him because I liked that he owned it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it was like a Facebook group or something that he was posting in, and he posted a picture, and defense tried to make it sound like he was literally gonna make money or something off of it because he made some comment about who wants to wager that he gets put away or something.
Right.
And I felt like he tried to twist that in a weird way. And the fact that he also, like, with the lawsuit, it was like water off a duck's back. He was like, yeah, I wasn't worried about it. I don't have that money anyway. I didn't do it. I didn't respond to it. I didn't get a lawyer. Like, screw him.
Yeah.
Like, I liked him.
Yeah, I liked him too. I thought he was feisty. He was great, in my opinion. All right, let's go ahead to Rivera. I feel like Rivera was the star witness of the show, in my opinion. I found him, although he is, the killer, he was very open. I did not feel like he was lying about anything. I felt like he was telling the truth. He was supposed to be the shooter. However, plans changed because he was driving that day. He is in the process of serving a federal case for conspiracy with a gang on RICO charges. So basically, they conspired to do some crimes, right? And so he is in federal prison. He will get released for both in 2032 if he testified and tell the truth in trial. So he basically testified that they never told him who he would have to testify against. He was just told that he has to testify and he needs to tell the truth, and his sentence will be reduced from life down to 19 years for the murder charge, and that they can also help him get out on the RICO charge. He was in a gang, I guess still is in a gang. But at this point, if he's snitching like this, I don't know if he's still in the gang. Let's see, not against a particular person. Garcia, who he listed as the brother, which I don't know how to say that guy's first name, so I'm just going to call him Garcia. Sigfredo. Garcia. Yeah, I'm not doing it. So he basically said that his friend Garcia, he had been friends with him since childhood. He came up to him and was like, hey, I got a job for you. I need to, kill this person for my baby mama so that my baby mama would get back in a relationship with me. Are you down? You're going to get money. And Rivera was like, yes, I'm a gangster, so I am down. I will do it for you, or I will help you do it, or whatever it is. But the funny thing is, or I don't know if it's a funny thing, but Garcia was not actually in a gang. He's just trying to get his baby mama back in his life, apparently. Weird reason to do something like this, but that's basically what they said. He stated that he did not know Dan. He didn't know his name. He just followed the instructions of the envelope that Garcia received. He stated that Katie received the money and she gave it to them. He actually suggested to Garcia, why don't they just rob Wendy instead of killing Dan? He also stated that they did not kill Dan on the June trip because he had his kids with him, and as a good gang member that he is, he would not do a killing in front of kids. He doesn't kill kids. There's certain, standards with being a gang member, and one of his standards was that he was not going to kill Dan in front of the kids. So that's why the original June trip didn't happen. One other funny thing, well, that's probably in someone else's testimony, so I'll just stop. He stated, and this is what made him believable to me, he did not call anybody by their name. He stated he called Wendy the lady trying to get her kids back. He called Charlie the dentist. He didn't know their names. He said he never met him until today. And now I know this is the dentist. But even then, he still referred to him as the dentist. So I feel like that kind of, if he's telling the truth, right, which I think he is, it kind of gives him a little bit more like believability that he really just did this as a job. He didn't know these people. And the fact that he is, you know, oh, your mic jumped off the screen. The fact that he didn't really know these people and made it a little bit easier for him to do it. And then he's in the gang. So yeah, he was paid $37,000. He said that the whole payment was supposed to be about $100,000. He does not know how much Katie got versus how much Garcia got. He emphasized and he kept saying this had nothing to do with the gang. So of course the defense will try to allege he's a gang member, so his hitman gang friend set this up. He said absolutely not. This was not a gang hit. This was something that I did for a favor for my friend and also to get money. One other thing that the defense tried to argue is that Dan posted on some blog, some law blog, that he was going to a conference, and Rivera testified that no, he did not get the information from the internet. He was utterly confused when they asked him about, did you read it on the internet about where he would be? He's like, no, absolutely not. The defense asked about the lies that he was told. So basically, he was told when they were there that there was a lady waiting in a car or something like that. He was told that that's the lady that wants her kids back, and she also had kids in the car at the time. I think they told him some, I can't remember the other lies that was told, but Cross, the prosecution did a really good job at bringing it back and stating that he did not know they were lies at the time. He now knows that they're lies, that he's, you know, in jail, but he didn't know that there was lies at the time. So the defense was basically trying to say, well, why did you trust them? Because they were lying to you. His answer is, I didn't know they were lying to me at the time. And I think the prosecution did a really good job at bringing that back for us. So, Kimmy, did you have anything else on him?
Yeah, so the list of lies, allegedly, like, he was lied about what the job was in the first place. Like, he was told it was going to be a robbery when they went up there, and then found on the way up there differently. He was told that they were just going to scope things out. He was told, he listed, I had more in my notes, that it was or wasn't the lady. But when the state brought it back around, because he was really protective of Sigfredo or Garcia or whatever, like, he kept saying how he's a good guy and it's not, you know, Katie's the one who screwed him up, it wasn't him, it's not his fault, whatever. And when the state asked him about all the things that were lies, the way that I interpreted of, do you know that those were lies, was like, do you think that they were lies now? Because then when the state asked, he said, when he said, oh, that's the lady, she's looking at us, do you know if he really thought it was the lady? And he replied, it was the lady. And state said, he thought it was the lady? Right, it was the lady, it was her, all right. So, like, he even not only like, didn't know there were lies at the time, but I think still doesn't necessarily believe that they were lies, and just
kind of like, I see what you're saying, that they were purposely lying. Yeah, I think he did demonstrate that on the stand too. Like, yes, he might have lied, but I don't think he was purposely lying to me.
Yeah, and he did not care for the Latin Kings being referred to as a gang. He referred to them as a family multiple times. Didn't like when Dan did that. And as far as the snitching thing goes, I mean, yeah, I was wondering about that too. If he's in federal prison, but I guess there's no honor among thieves, and if he's in but not, he didn't snitch on like fellow gang members, but it was his brother, so I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know, because I would like to see what actually happened in their trials. How did they end up, you know, behind the bars? But I believe Rivera is the one that kind of started singing like a canary before they even went to trial. Like he told them about shooting the floor in the Prius, which helped them find the car that had actually been sold since the crime, because they weren't arrested until like 2016. The rental car place had sold the car. They were no longer using it. So yeah, they say snitches get stitches.
Well,
yeah.
he's apparently one of the leaders of it, so maybe he gets to make decisions to like sell out underlings or something. I don't know. But for the 19-year sentence, I know that it's running concurrently with the federal case. Did they say, I don't remember how long he was sentenced to for the federal case?
No. Not that I heard.
Because I wonder if that like just added a couple years or didn't add anything or what.
I think that it was probably, because this one would have been life, and he did, for exchange to not have life, he's doing 19 years and testifying in these trials.
But I mean, the RICO charges that he's in prison already for. I wonder how long he would have been in prison for the RICO if he had not also been convicted of this. Like, how much time did this add to his sentence?
I don't know. I don't remember them saying how long he was in for the RICO charge. Okay, let's go on to Catherine McBanois, who I spelled her name all kinds of crazy ways in my notes. And I don't think we're going to make it through all of the people. I have so many notes still left, and I planned on just talking about this case one more time, but we're probably going to have to bring it into next week in order to finish it.
Yeah, I've already been skipping the evidence slides.
Okay, yeah, you did your thing on this for sure. Let's see. Catherine McBanois. It's spelled wrong in my notes, so if I mess up, please forgive me. She is the ex-girlfriend of Charlie. She was the one that was enlisted to find someone to do the murders. She has been convicted. She's actually still appealing her conviction, which makes me wonder, how are you appealing your conviction, claiming your innocence in your appeal, but admitting that you were a part of it in this trial, which can be used against her because she's under penalty of perjury. Let's see. She stated that she rejected deals from the state, which means, lower sentencing or maybe even get out of jail free card, because she thought she was going to get away with it. She was very, very open with the fact that she lied during her trials. She's saying that she wants the truth to come out. She thought she was going to get away with it. She would love to be with her kids. But at this point, there is no deal on the table for her. She's literally testifying right now in hopes probably that she will get a deal later. Rashbaum kept trying to emphasize that you are not getting out unless you die or unless the state helps you, right? And she was like, I don't know about that. They haven't really offered me anything. So yes, I hope they will help me. But at this point, they're not helping me. And I denied several deals already because I thought I was going to get away with it. She testified that she did not know Dan Markel. She never knew his name until really all of this stuff started coming out. She testified that it was Charlie telling her to get it done because they had been working on this for approximately a year. It took them to get it done. Let's see. No one else was directing her. It wasn't Donna. It wasn't Wendy. It wasn't some gang leader. It was actually Charlie telling her that she needs to get the job done. She was offered a deal, but she refused to take the deal because in order to take the deal and testify against Charlie, she would also have to basically implicate Garcia, who was her baby daddy. And she said she was trying to protect him more than Charlie. So Charlie kind of, got scapegoated because she wanted to protect Garcia. Let's see here. They tried to impeach her based on her testimony during the trial, but the defense to me just didn't tie things together all the way. They tried to paint her as a liar and wanting to help her own case. Like I said, they're saying you're looking for a deal, right? You're looking for a deal, right? She's like, Probably, but I don't have a deal if that's what you're trying to get. And she said multiple times, she's like, yes, I lied during my trial. I told you that. So she was very real for that. Yes, I lied during my trial. And so I liked her. I didn't think she was a bad witness. I think she did a good job. I think she kept her cool. On redirect, she confirmed that Charlie indicated that it was a murder, not just roughing it up, because that was one thing the defense tried to rely on. He asked Catherine to have someone rough up Dan, but they decided to kill him. Like, so she definitely confirmed that he initially said rough up, but he made it clear that he wanted him dead. I know that was quick notes on her. She testified a lot, but that's all that I wrote down. So Kimmy, did you have anything else on her?
I mean, she did testify a lot, but it wasn't very new information.
Right.
Since she went right after Rivera. I thought it was really funny that the prosecutor opened with, I see you're wearing jail clothes. I don't know why. That just like tickled me.
Yeah.
He did it, I think, with Rivera too. It's like, oh, what you doing?
You're in jail because we already got you, right?
Oh yeah, that was another thing the state said too when she was asking about her. She goes, oh, so did we do it right? Or however she worded it, did we get it right in that case?
We did it right. Yeah.
It's like, okay, she did and she knows it. Good for her.
Yeah. And I'm just like, how are you? I would really like to know the basis of her appeal, because I didn't say this earlier, but Catherine basically had a mistrial the first time, so they couldn't decide whether she did it or not. And then on the last one, she was convicted. And so right now she's serving her sentence on the last one, but she's also appealing it. So I would really love to know what the basis of the appeal is. If she's claiming she didn't do it in the appeal, but then coming to Charlie's case and saying, yes, I did participate, I don't know how well that appeal is going to go. And I think the defense did point that out pretty well too. So that kind of made her look bad, honestly. Or she probably realized, like, what am I doing right now? I'm going to lose my appeal. But if the state can help her, they can help her whether she, wins her appeal or not, I'm assuming. So
I have a question about that though. Appeals just have to be based on what happened in the case though, right? So like if something legally improper or whatever happened in that case, then even if she was out in the streets like with new footage of her doing it, would that not, like, she'd be retried, I'd assume, and it would come in then, but wouldn't that be like irrelevant to an extent in an appeal because it can only go based off of the trial itself?
Right. So you would appeal based on things like, okay, defense is being denied for all their motions. They can appeal based on if the court would have allowed the motion for acquittal, then my client would not be in jail, and they should have allowed it because the state failed to prove this, this, and this. Same thing for her. She could be doing something based on like a technicality kind of situation. But like you said, if she's called back into trial, they now have this testimony to use against her.
Yeah.
So it's still not smart, whether or not. But I'm like I said, I guess if the state can help her, then there's really no point, of the appeal at that point. But I don't know how all of that stuff works because I don't do criminal and I don't do appeals. So I don't know exactly the procedure of that.
Yeah, I don't know. I just play a paralegal on YouTube.
Yeah, not playing it. Okay, I'm gonna go through chats and then I'm gonna log off because we're almost at 3 hours and it's late here. I know it's definitely late where you are, but I said I was gonna fit. This will be our last time talking about it, but if you guys are interested in hearing everybody else, I still have quite a few witnesses, and then if I could finish. Charlie,
I think if we get to 50 likes, we're at 48.
Okay, we're at 48 likes with 33 people watching live. So if you haven't hit the like button, please do. It helps us out, helps us get more friends, and it helps us out in the algorithm. But while we wait for the peeps to do that, I am going to go ahead and you guys see our little friend Mike down there.
Do you want me to drop off?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. So what was I gonna say? I forgot what the heck I was saying. Let me go ahead and do the comments, and hopefully we can get to our 50 likes for the live stream. That will be awesome. We have Mary Malarkey saying, thinking out loud, how many times per day do you think Jeffrey says phew? Did he say phew a lot? I didn't even notice that.
Oh, I do not care for him.
Okay, why don't you care for him? Because you never said why.
He just seemed whiny to me.
Yeah,
And like he tried to get little things in
he did.
that bothered me. Like you're already there, you've already got plenty to say. Like and you know that defense is trying to make you look like a petty ex. Don't give them room to argue that.
Right. That makes sense. That definitely makes sense. And then you get the poll. So it says, how do you feel about Jeff Lacoste's testimony? 18% says positively, 18% says negatively, 0% says indifferent, and 64% says didn't see. So we're pretty even. We're pretty even. I liked him. You didn't like him. So
maybe we should, like, you should react to that next week. Because we broke 50, so we can do another.
Yay! Wait, let me look. I got my soundboard and I still over here making my own sounds. So, but I don't know where anything is. That's the first problem. It's saying that it's playing, but I can't hear it. Can you hear the applause?
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't hear it. That was
really?
strange.
That was whoa.
Oh. Is it, do I have my button off or something? Oh, there we go. Yeah, I had it. See, I'm messing up stuff on the soundboard. Don't know how to work it. That's my problem. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and end the poll for that one. I don't even remember him saying few like that. Mary Malarkey was saying only 6 likes away. Well, we hit it. We hit it. 51. Look at us. Look at us. Okay, Chris Mullen says apparently it was a remote control thrown by one of the kids, or so Charlie Adelson testified to. I didn't watch all of his testimony yet, but Lacoste said he doesn't think a kid, and at the time they were only 3 and 4. Do you think a kid will have that much force?
I do.
You do?
So my best friend, one of her sons, he's got a little rocket. Like he has messed their TV up.
Yeah.
From like low down, messed it up.
Yeah.
So
possible.
I mean, yeah.
Anything is possible.
And I see it because with them, like they're so arrogant and so nonsensical in the decisions they make that it almost makes me think they didn't do it, because like the bullet whiskey and then making the hitman joke about the TV, but then using that as an alibi. Like you're using the bullet whiskey, like it's so dumb. It's
I think they're that arrogant though. And you know what? I think they're so arrogant that the kid probably did throw something at the TV. But I think they're so arrogant that they even included the kids in the plot. They said, "Hey, little Johnny or whatever his name is, throw this at the TV." I would not be surprised if that came out.
That's evil. That's not arrogant. Oh my God.
I would not be surprised if that came out. Sorry,
they're trying to take my sunshines away. Don't let them.
Yes, yeah. Why would you tell that to a kid? Like these people are a little insane.
And also, I mean, if Wendy was making them watch the TV even when it was broken,
yeah,
then maybe she did something to annoy them. Oh my gosh, that's awful. But now
it's in your brain.
Yeah, because I definitely think a kid could do it. And if she was annoying them with that TV,
I think she did it.
Oh
But
boy.
let's go on. Diane D says either way, the defense didn't object to testimony of it being read in. The defense didn't object to Jack Diddley squat, and then when they did object and they won on one, and they tried to, relay their foundation, and they're objected to again, they go, Judge. I'm just like, how old are you? Like, why so animated? Like, what is the problem? The Rashburn did it, and then the lady attorney did the same exact thing.
Myers?
Is that her name? I don't remember.
The defense?
Yeah, the lady.
Yeah, Myers.
Yeah, they both did the same thing. I'm like, do y'all practice this in your office? Like, what is this move? I need to learn it. No. Mary Malarkey says, same. I haven't watched Wendy, but Bree has me convinced not to waste my time on her. She just lied the whole time, in my opinion. So I don't know if there's much to say. Chris Mullen says, I don't think Rivera told it as it was. Really?
I do think he said.
Oh, I do. Oh, sorry. Thank you. However, I am pretty sure that Katie was lying through her teeth during most of her testimony. I think that she was lying. I think she was trying to be careful. However, I think she told the truth about the right things, because her testimony did contradict a lot of her other testimony, but she also admitted that she lied during that testimony. Her story adds up with Rivera's story at this point, which adds up with the prosecution story. So I definitely think she lied about some things, like the fact that she was no longer getting paid at the time. But I think as far as like the actual plot of the murder, I think she told the truth about that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Steph S., a member of the channel, says, it's so insane that the whole family worked together to have him killed just so she can move without custody issues. And she got to live her children's pretty much whole adolescence without any more court battle. They went through, 2 years of contentious court battles, and she lived 10 years of no custody issues. That's insane to me. Insane. Yeah. So let's see. Mary Malarkey says, wow, but then you have to worry about 2 people returning to ask you for more money to keep quiet, on which I don't know exactly what that's referring to. Do you know?
I think as far as like if somebody,
the payment plan
thing. It was on the tip of my tongue because I remember when that came in and then I just lost it.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Stephanie S. says to Mary, I don't get that. How can you help commit a murder and then blackmail? Hey, I'll tell the cops that we committed a murder if you don't pay me. Yeah, that was stupid. That's his defense. And I think that was his defense originally. And then he tried to start changing it. So basically he's saying that someone came up to Catherine and said, hey, we murdered Dan, and if you don't give us money, we're going to tell the cops, and or the other thing is that we're going to kill your family, because the story changed. That he went back and forth on that of like, okay, if you don't give us money, we're going to do these things. We're either going to tell the cops or we're going to kill your family. It makes more sense for them to say, oh, we're going to kill your family if you don't give us money.
I thought they were going to say that, like, we're going to say you did it and we know what evidence to tell them to like frame you since we actually did it.
That would probably be better than the excuses that they gave. That would probably be better.
That's what I thought oh my gosh, I might have just filled in the gaps. He said that they were going. He said that they were going to kill.
They said that the hitman went up to Catherine. So it's a lot of moving pieces. They said the hitman went to Catherine and told her they killed Dan, and if you don't give them money, they had 2 excuses that I heard. If you don't give them money, they're going to kill your family, or if you don't give them money, they're going to tell that you know who did it. Oh. I didn't hear the one that he did it, but to me that would make a lot more freaking sense than what they
might have been giving them more credit than they were due then, because that's what I just assumed, because that does not make sense at all.
The story changed multiple times throughout the trial. of what
Do
it
you
was.
think it was a mistake for him to testify?
I think it was a mistake for him to challenge it. He should have just accepted a deal.
Well.
I do. The thing is, like, the defendants, they have the right to testify on their own behalf, but when you did it, it is very hard to testify and appear as if you didn't do it. You know, especially when you just went through 4 or 5 days of these people making you look like a liar, McLiar pants, and your sister not helping your case and your ex-girlfriend not helping your case. They are probably sick of hearing people that support you at this point. So I would say it's a mistake for him to testify, but I think he would have got convicted either way, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
So Mary Malarkey says to Stephanie S., agree. You would think one family member would stop the insanity. Right. There was no one with any type of like, hey guys, maybe this is not the right thing to do. Maybe we can do this a different way. Or, you know, like we can just move to Tallahassee, you know, and live our life there to help her with the kids. Anything. But they all were like, yeah, you know what? This is a good idea. Let's see. How could so many think this is the best for the kids in the long run? People do it so much though. And I don't know what their thought process is. They should do a study on that. What is someone's thought process in saying the best way for me to succeed in this situation is to kill this person, get this money, and then my life will be great. They should do a study.
I think it's because they're not seeing those people as people. They're just an obstacle to be removed.
So my question is, do you have to have like a mental illness to, like, are you a sociopath to think of people as not people?
It's disordered thinking for sure, to like be able to put yourself above or others below like that. But I don't know. I wouldn't say it's necessarily always sociopathic or like diagnosable, but there's something, because it makes so little sense that like there's just some wires crossed somewhere.
I feel like there has to be something wrong with you to think that the best option, especially like when the motive is like, okay, this person is beating me, I need to get out of here and defend myself. Sure. But if the motive is like money or living closer to your parents or like just something that's so stupid, when that's the motive, I feel like there has to be something wrong with you at that point.
For sure. But I kind of suspect, like, my theory is that it's Donna, who's used to getting what she wants, and her little mama's boy did what she told her to. And I wouldn't be surprised if like Wendy wasn't in on it, or if I wouldn't be surprised to find out that she was, but I wouldn't be surprised to find out she wasn't either. I think Donna.
I think she was the mastermind.
She's the one, I think.
Yeah, I think she was definitely the mastermind, and I think she used her kids. She didn't have a life of her own, is what it sounds like to me. But yeah, I definitely think Donna is the mastermind behind it, and her son is just not, they thought they could get away with it.
Well, Donna did. So
they did. Yeah, both of them got away with it for a really long time. Usually in cases like this, people are arrested pretty quickly. So they, to an extent, they got away with it. Not for the rest of their lives, luckily, but to an extent, they did get away with it.
Yeah. So that one guy and his meddling technology.
Oh, they were mad about that. They were really mad with the techno guy or the technology guys. They were the defense was very aggressive with them. Stephanie S. says that was so stupid, testifying against herself while appealing and claiming she's innocent. She should save court costs and drop the appeal at this point, because they're gonna use that she's gonna get on there and say, well, I lied in that trial too. I lied over there too. I lied about me lying in my trial. Okay, Stephanie S. says, Mary, I don't know. It's insane. I wouldn't be okay, but more understandable if he was horribly abusive. That's what they tried to point out. And the system failed to protect her and the kids, but there was nothing like that. Just custody, maybe money, maybe, not get in their way and wanting to kind of take advantage. All right, we hit our 50 likes, so thank you, Tanya, for reminding the chat. Mary Malarkey says, yes, no abuse, no financial issue, makes no sense. It's literally a very dumb idea. I don't know how they came up with this. Stephanie S says, all right, I'll switch YouTube accounts for the second like. Thank you. I appreciate it. Definitely. Let's see where we at. Let's see. We got 51. Thank you, everybody.
I'm showing 52.
Oh, are you at 52? I'm still going through the chats. That's why I said 51. I'm just showing 51 on the back end in studio. Don't know why.
Rude.
That's okay. Stephanie S says Edelstein thought because he's a doctor, he's above the law. I think so too. And I feel like I think I was watching someone else's live stream about this or their replay, and they said something like, I guarantee he has done different crimes and got away with it, so he probably thought he can get away with this too. And I would not be surprised to find out if he did some other stuff. I mean, he admitted on the stand that he was taking money under the table for dentist work, So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if I found out that he did other crimes, maybe not violent, but other probably fraudulent things.
Yeah.
Tanya D agrees with Stephanie. A says it's just such a silly cover. Which one? The story? Yes, for sure. A says he was smirking throughout. He looked bad. Why testify? Yeah, he did. Like him and his attorney were giggling and making smirks and snuffs and things like that. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, do you not know you're on trial? A says they were too rich. Wendy even changed the kid's name to Edelson. Yes, that was, very telling for me. Although she said it's because of the media, I don't believe that was the reason.
Yeah, it was a year later.
Yeah, I don't believe that was the reason. I hate them so much. Poor Dan and poor boys. I agree with you there. Affluenza. Donna and Charlie were so used to control that family, and Dan stood in the way. Exactly. He was stopping them from getting what they wanted, literally is what it was. Donna and Charlie were caught in the wiretaps, triangling Wendy. Man, when I tell you those wiretaps in the beginning were like Charlie, I'm glad he did it because it made it so that he didn't get away with it. But he was so dumb. Donna kept saying, let's not talk on the phone. Charlie calls back. So can you tell me what it is? No, let's not talk on the phone. Okay, but are they like blackmailing you? No, let's not talk on the phone. Okay, but is it like the IRS? Okay, no. And he just kept asking questions, and then she'll be like, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll hang up. He calls back. So, who did this? Like, it's like you clearly know what's going on, but you're just like the mom was, and that's why I think Donna was the mastermind, because I think Charlie, although maybe smart, might be a little dumb at the same time, because he definitely
Charlie did what mommy told him to.
Yeah.
And mommy knew she had just enough layers for herself.
Yeah. And she protected the mess out of herself, but guess what Charlie did? Talk.
Why did his attorney keep bringing that up? Like, his attorney asked so many people. Charlie likes to talk, doesn't he? He repeats himself, doesn't he? Like, why?
You're just proving our thought that he's arrogant or maybe even narcissistic.
Like,
which a lot of people on the internet have been calling him narcissistic.
Oh my goodness. Do you see Cast the Sass?
Yes, I'm getting to Cast the Sass. Welcome back to the live stream. Nice to see you. And thank you so much for gifting 10 Boss Attorney Bree memberships. So we got some new members. We got Chantel is a member. Mary Jane is a member. Not Sarah. Baby Meatball, love that name, is a member. Kitty Cat Meow is a member. Crystal Harris, C-Tie, Summer Butterfly, Mr. E, and Ward. And thank you very much, Casa says. Definitely appreciate it. She says, hey, Bree and Bree Hive, I missed so many lives since my latest work schedule changed. I'll be rewatch crew, but so glad to see you live so late. I accidentally went this long. We're actually getting ready to wrap up, but thank you so much for stopping by, and thank you so much for gifting the 10 Foster Attorney Free memberships. We have some new members. Super exciting. Okay, let me see here. Where are we at in the chat? Mario Malaki says Kimmy nailed it. They see the person as an obstacle, not a human being. I feel like something has to be wrong with you for that, though. I don't know how they do it. A says they thought they could deprive him of custody because they always get their way. Horrible. He deaf guilty of fishy taxes. That's his other crime, Charlie, the taxes. Tiny D says the only day Charlie wasn't smiling was closing day. That is true. That was the saddest he looked throughout the entire trial. I was like, oh, he is putting on the tears. He had to be a good actress like Wendy that day. Again, thank you so much, Cass Sass. I definitely appreciate it. Tanya D also says, thank you for coming through with the memberships. A says, trying to say Charlie says meaningless stuff like the TV story. Oh, that makes sense. Like, what? No, he just talks. I don't even know what to think of him. Donna in the chat, Donna Bop though, says, how can I qualify for a gift membership? I'm not working right now and I can't afford it. Oh, thank you so much. It's okay. So basically, I think it just randomly gives it to, I'm not sure how it works.
You do have to turn on in your settings somewhere. Let me see if I can. You have to enable it. Let me see.
Oh, to be able to accept it, right? And then I think when people do gift it on the actual chat, you can click on it and then press accept or something like that too, right?
Yeah, Cass just said how to do it.
Okay, got it. Let's see. There we go. Cass says there's a money sign next to the chat box for you. Click and then click membership on the page. Hit 2 little dots at the top right and turn on gifts. Okay, yeah. So you can do it in chat. I just said it the wrong way. So thank you for that, Cass. Let's see. Cheryl Reed says, hello, Bree Hive, just passing through. Thought I missed the live. Glad to catch a bit. Well, thank you for stopping by and thank you for, giving us a chat. Love it. Tiny D says you have to go into your settings and allow gifting. Stephanie S says, Donna, make sure you have accept gift. Oh, everybody's talking about that. All right, saying hi to Cheryl Reed. Okay, that is all I have for I had more for the live stream, but we're already 3 hours in. And I know Kimmy did a wonderful job on the PowerPoint. Like I said, I would not have put that much detail in there. So thank you so much for grabbing all like the exhibits and everything in there. I would say I will listen to the rest of the trial over the weekend, but I'm doing party stuff, so I probably won't. We may have to cover this next week. If you guys are into it, we can probably do a poll over the weekend to see if you want to cover the rest of the testimony or at least the rest of the witnesses that testified for the prosecution. And then from there, we will figure out what other new cases we want to cover on the channel. So thank you again very much, Kimmy. Thank you, chat, for all of the interaction. And I will see y'all all on the next live stream. Bye.
Good night, y'all.